Bundesliga Radio. Live.
African football fans, a very warm welcome to the Deutsche Bank Park in Frankfurt, home of Eintracht, and the home side getting ready for the visit of a resurgent Augsburg side. How will Frankfurt react after losing 6-0 to Leipzig last week? Their heaviest defeat in almost 30 years, would you believe? And Augsburg on the up after beating Leverkusen last week. We will, as usual, be looking at all the Bundesliga's African players. I'm Alex Sisto. Stay tuned.
And with Alex, it's me, Kai Neve, here in the studios in Bonn. So good to have you all with us. We're so excited for this upcoming clash fixture. And it's going to be really cool because we've got a team in Frankfurt who just faced Barcelona at the newly refurbished Camp Nou Stadium on Tuesday. And even though they lost 2-1, it was a great performance. Their chances of progressing through to the next stage of the Champions League may be small, but they'll definitely want to improve their standings in the Bundesliga. They're currently 7th, but just 2 points off a Champions League place. And as you know, the Bundesliga already in its 63rd season. Can you believe, Alex? It's been around for a really long time. We, of course, also remember that last night there was already a game in the Bundesliga, Friday night special between Union Berlin and RB Leipzig, and Union Berlin taking that game 3-1.
Yes, what a result that was for Union Berlin, and Ilyas Ansel, their German Ghanaian, was amongst the goals again. Augsburg, the visitors, are in 14th and just 2 points off the relegation playoff place. And after sacking their coach Sandro Wagner, their former coach Manuel Baum was taken over in an interim role, and his side looking really good against Leverkusen last week. So Augsburg's DNA is passionate defending, robustness and a high work rate. Will they produce the goods today? Well, we expect a similar lineup for Frankfurt today. As to the side that face Barcelona, the team sheets are in, and here is the home side, Eintracht Frankfurt. In goal, they've got Michael Setterer. The back four are Christensen, Collins, Koch and Teate. The two holding midfielders are Ilyas Skiri, Mahmoud Dahoud. Ahead of them are Ritsu Doan and Fares Chaibi in the wide positions, with Mario Götze in the middle. And leading the line for Eintracht Frankfurt is Ansgar Knauf, the man who got the goal against Barcelona on Wednesday. What about Augsburg?
Well, Alex, we've got, as per normal, Finn Darman in goal. On the back left position, Schlotterbeck. Central defense is Matsima. Banks on the right back position, Fellhauer on the right wing position, Jakic in the middle, Masengo in the middle, and Janulis on the left. Now, there's an interesting, I guess you'd call it a triangle going forward. It's an unusual formation. Claude Maurice on the left wing position, Rieder on the right wing position, and Kade is the hitman up front. So an interesting lineup we've got here for Augsburg. It's not dissimilar to what they used against Leverkusen, and as we know in that game, Alex, they really did well with a 2-0 win.
They certainly did, and we've got two players of African descent in the lineup today. Christian Matsima, he's French-Congolese, that's DOC, and he joined from Monaco. And then, of course, the holding midfielder is Hanoa Masengo. He too is Congolese, and up front is Alexis Claude Maurice. He's French Guadeloupe. So, as usual, we'll be keeping you informed about the African players.
Alex, one thing I want to interrupt you with. You just need to tell our listeners about this cool tradition they have here in the Frankfurter Stadium before they get games off. It's unusual because it involves a bird.
The eagle, of course, is the mascot
right?
of Eintracht, and they always bring him out at the beginning of the game, just before the game starts, and they show him off to the fans.
And it's a big eagle, right?
It's a big eagle, and Frankfurt, of course, they've got this badge on their shirts with the eagle. Let me tell you who the referees today is. 46-year-old teacher Frank Willenberg from Osnabrück. This is 101st Bundesliga game. So, Frankfurt put in a really good performance on in midweek against Barcelona. They lost 2-1, but it was
Alex,
a much improved performance, of course, to that 6-0 drubbing against
Well, it was two different teams, Alex.
Leipzig.
Couldn't even recognize Frankfurt. I mean, especially in the first half, they looked so dangerous.
Yeah.
But I guess in the second half, just the the class and, well, just the firepower of that Barcelona team just
exactly.
got them.
Off we go. Kick-off. Frankfurt playing from right to left in their traditional red and black stripes, and Augsburg in white with a stripe, shall we say, of green and red down their chests.
Well, actually, no. Do you know what this strip reminds me of, Alex? It reminds me of the Peruvian national team jersey.
All right, a little bit, yes. A little
right?
bit like Peru, indeed.
For those of our South American listeners who may or may not be fans of the Peru, yeah.
So Augsburg being pressed really early, and that was Noah Kai Banks, the American defender, playing in the right back position, waiting to be called up to. He actually was called up to the US squad. He hasn't got a game yet, but that's sure to come. Giannoulis, we just saw Dimitros Giannoulis on the wing there for Augsburg. He's the man who got an assist and scored a goal last week against Leverkusen, and he's the danger man. He's gets so many crosses into the box, Giannoulis. He's really dangerous, and one found the head of Anton Kader last week, and they've had a good week to rest Augsburg, whilst Frankfurt, of course, were, as we told you, in the Champions League against Barcelona. Augsburg doing well to win the corner here. Robin Fellhauer, that was the defensive midfielder who had a fantastic season for Elversberg last term. That's the small club from the Saar who almost made it into the Bundesliga. And Robin Fellhauer, one of the defensive midfielders, impressed so much that Augsburg decided to buy him. Corner to Augsburg. Frankfurt with all their players back. And Michael Setterer, their keeper, trying to organise his defence. Early corner this for the visitors. It's going to be taken from the right-hand side. In it comes. It's a good one, but it's headed away by Theat, the Belgium. In it comes once more. Giannoulis. Good cross.
Very good cross.
And would you believe they've scored? Augsburg take the lead, and it's Christian Matsima, the French-Congolese player. Early lead. What about that, Kai?
Wow, great start here for Augsburg. And we said they could be dangerous from the get-go. But I think that the Frankfurter players are really complaining here, because when the corner came in, there was actually a foul with Setterer ending up on his back in the goal.
Well, let's hope it's not another VAR decision. Let's watch this closely, Kai. In came the corner. There was a push, but it was still... I mean,
I don't know about that, Alex. It's
good header by Matsima.
It would be harsh if this is taken back,
because the push was a long time before that ball was headed.
Yeah, there was. I mean, the goalkeeper was up and standing. He had every chance to make this. The push didn't. Yeah, it'll be very sad if this is called back, because what a great start for Augsburg, and Matsima in particular. He is on fire, this man.
Let's hope it stands. Manuel Baum doesn't know why it shouldn't. Matsima, his first goal, the defender who's settled in really well, and we can see Michael Setterer having a word with Frank Willenborg, the referee there, and we just wonder if it's going to count or not.
Alex, just to say, I mean, all that happened here was that I believe it was I think it was Kade who was actually just standing his ground, and the goalkeeper walked into him, and the goalkeeper fell over. But it looks like
it's a VAR decision.
It's
definitely.
a VAR, ref.
Let's see. There was a push. I think it was Banks who pushed the keeper out of the way, but he was on his feet a long time before the ball was headed in. But I think they won't allow the goal. What do you think? That will be a big shame for Christian Matsima, the French-Congolese defender there.
I mean, to me, if I'm honest, I think that if this is taken back,
I think it's been disallowed.
It's hard to tell what the referee has decided.
He's making the announcement now. Okay, so it wasn't even the push. He says it's offside.
Exactly, yeah.
There was an Augsburg player offside. Well, Augsburg cruelly denied the goal. 0-0 here, and Manuel Baum not looking happy at all. That would have been a good start to the game, Kai.
Certainly would have been a great start to the game, but I think we have had a lively start anyway. The fans are into it. It's always fun to be here at Deutsche Bank Park because, of course, the Frankfurter fans are almost like a cult following of their club here through thick and thin, and you always see these massive banners and really loud cheers from the ultras.
One of the biggest clubs in Germany, of course, founded in 1899, and well, I say one of the biggest clubs, although they are 7th in the table, but they're always mixing it, trying to go into the top 4 to get a Champions League place. Looks a bit difficult this season, but they've made a lot of money by selling Kolo Muani, Omar Mamouche, and Hugo Etiquette, Sebastien Haller, and Luka Jovic. That's around 400 million euros that Frankfurt took in. But
and Alex, they really actually have a good young team as it is. Just having a look through this roster, we still have on the pitch, we've got Doan, we've got Fares Chaibi, and there's also Mario Götze, the veteran German striker.
Right, Götze.
Unbelievable. He's still playing top-flight football at this stage.
Well, I think Doan was a very good signing from Freiburg, the Japanese winger. And, well, they can consider themselves lucky that that was a minimal offside decision against Augsburg. Pity for Matsima there. Would have been nice to see him get a goal. Frankfurt trying to build from the back. The ball played out to the right back. That is Rasmus Christensen, the Dane, formerly of Leeds United. Frankfurt trying to I'm sure they were shocked by that goal, which wasn't given in the end, but they went to know that. TRT plays the ball back to Robin Koch, the captain. Used to play for Leeds United, Robin Koch, as did Rasmus Christensen, would you believe, and now very much part of this Eintracht Frankfurt side. You know, when I look at Augsburg, I see that they are very well positioned, and I think that's the influence of their former coach and their present coach, Manuel Baum, and Doan doing very well to pick the ball up. But they look really well positioned and well drilled, Augsburg. And I think we saw the difference against Leverkusen. Sandro Wagner, sad to see him sacked, but the defeats were coming thick and fast, and he had to go as Frankfurt tried to build. Here they come. But Augsburg, as we say, standing very firm, well organised, and Frankfurt trying to build. Let's take a look at the other games this afternoon. Mönchengladbach face Wolfsburg, and Wolfsburg, the Wolves, they've already scored. They're 1-0 up there.
Gee, that's an early one.
That's an early one. Patrick Wimmer, the Austrian international, scoring there. The other games this afternoon are St. Pauli against Heidenheim and Hoffenheim against Hamburg. And the late kickoff is Leverkusen against Cologne. That's the big derby.
Well, Alex, it wasn't always a big derby, but now it's taken on more and more significance with Cologne in the Bundesliga. They weren't last season, and also now, considering the kind of season they're having in the Bundesliga, I think that will be a really interesting matchup.
It certainly will. Augsburg doing well, intercepting the ball. Long ball forward, though. But,
oh, dear, if he has to move, if he gets there.
He's certainly got to move quickly there with Kade, Anton Kade, the Berlin-born centre forward who scored last week for Augsburg, doing very well. There is number 34, that is Namidi Collins. He's a German-Nigerian, and he's playing alongside Robin Koch in the heart of the Frankfurt defence. Long ball forward, but Augsburg standing firm, but it's picked up once more by Christensen for Frankfurt. This is Knauf, the man who scored against Barcelona on Tuesday. Ball played forward, here come Frankfurt, but a good defending. Just look at those two lines of fours, Kai. They look really well drilled, Augsburg.
They do look really well drilled, but this is exactly the kind of test that the Frankfurters are going to have to really get into and behind them. And I do think they have the technical players and the talent to do it, Alex.
Throw in to be taken by Christensen. It's a long one into the box, and it's headed away, though, by Augsburg. And Dimitros Giannoulis, the Greek winger, played for Norwich City in his career and doing very well. Opportunity here for Knauf. But that wasn't a good shot, and that was Finn Dahmen, the goalkeeper of Augsburg. He's got an English mother and a German father, and he could actually play for England, but he's been called up by Nagelsmann to the Germany squad. He hasn't played yet, so he could still switch if he wanted to.
Well, bit of a broken play here, and Ansgar Knopf really latches onto that really quickly, takes a snapshot, and wins a corner here.
Corner for Frankfurt to be taken over on that right-hand side. Everybody in the box, in it comes, and it's headed away by Matsima. Good clearance there by Christian Matsima, the French-Congolese defender. And Augsburg struggling a little bit and under pressure. That was Rieder, Fabian Rieder, the Swiss player who joined from Stade Rennes. And throw in to Eintracht into the penalty area, headed away once more. Well, they're a little bit under the cosh at the moment, Augsburg, and that goal would have done them really good.
Alex, I don't think Augsburg will mind that. They were under the cosh a lot last week against Leverkusen, and they managed to score 2 goals on the counter-attack. So that's something Frankfurt will have to be aware of.
Now, when we hear the name Eintracht Frankfurt, their most famous game, Kai, if you like footballing history, their most famous game...
I do like footballing history, Alex.
Yeah, so it was against Real Madrid back in 1960 at Hampden Park, Glasgow, in front of 126,000 supporters there. Early days, that was the legendary Real Madrid side in 1960. Real beat Frankfurt 7-3. At Hampden, and that's football historians love to, when they talk about Frankfurt, points out that game.
Yeah, certainly back in the days when Real Madrid were without doubt the best club in the world with best players.
Yeah, in comes the corner, headed away though by Augsburg, and there's a Frankfurt player who's gone down. He looks injured. He's taken a knock to his head then. I'm sure the referee will have to stop play. It's
Robin Koch and
Matsima colliding there. Let's hope both of them will be all right. Head injuries, of course, are very dangerous, and there's a hush in the stadium. 0-0 here.
Well, this is a bad thing for both.
For both of them.
Both teams.
Both of them central defenders. Koch for Frankfurt and Matsima for Augsburg, and they collided with their heads there in the penalty area.
Well, not just that. I mean, Matsima does not look in a good way. Neither does Koch here. I mean, basically the 2 biggest players on the pitch.
Yeah, they both went for that ball. And the stadium very quiet. And Manuel Baumann, Dino Topmüller looking very worried.
Well, I have to say, Matsima has not moved since that.
Yeah, let's watch the... Now, we're being shown the replay of that Augsburg goal, which was extremely tough decision. That's another of
those... And it had nothing to do...
No, it had nothing to do with the push. The goal wasn't given, I think. I mean, I'm not a friend of those offside decisions of just 1 inch or 2. Frank Willenborg.
Well, good to see that Robin Koch is at least on his feet.
Koch is on his feet. Let's hope Christian Matsima will get to his feet too, receiving treatment. And Robin Koch's got a bit of a sore head there.
I think, Alex, the procedures now, they do have to go for testing, don't they?
A check.
A concussion testing.
They've got to leave the pitch, which they have, and Darman picks up the ball. I'm not really sure if Matsima, I can't see Matsima, he must be off the pitch too, as everybody calms down and recovers from that little moment of shock.
Well, Matsima's on the pitch again.
Matsima, good for him, he's back on the pitch, and so is Robin Koch, so everything okay. Good players, good guys. They look okay again. This is Jakic, Christian Jakic. He's a Croatian midfielder. He used to play for Frankfurt, if you remember, Kai. And he's settled down very well at Augsburg. And let's see what he can do in the course of this afternoon.
Koch back on making passes. He looks all right now, moving normally.
Setter has got the ball. He too's recovered from that shock of conceding a very early goal. 0-0 here at the Deutsche Bank Park in Frankfurt. Robin Koch clears the ball upfield. Brilliant ball.
Really good ball.
Christensen. Good control by Christensen. Can he find a free player? Christensen on the ball. Slips it forward.
What a
it's
pass.
A good ball. This is Chaibi, the Algerian Fares Chaibi.
Poor Chaibi will really be disappointed with his first touch. They're normally such a good technical player, but his first touch lets him down here, and he was free on goal here.
The man who joined from Toulouse in Ligue 1 in France. He settled down quite well in the Frankfurt side. He's usually in the starting lineup there, but the ball going into touch, and I reckon it's going to be a corner.
No,
is it going to be a goal kick?
It's a goal kick because the referee ruled that Chaibi had pushed Fellhauer.
Fellhauer with a little push there, and Kader chasing the opposition.
Kader looks full of beans today, man. He's chasing everything that moves.
Yeah, so he should. And
wow,
he was brought down against a pretty rough game, I must say.
Jakic flooring down Doan there.
Doan. And here's Christensen, who's seen a lot of the ball. Plays the ball to his right. This is Robin Koch, the Eintracht captain. He finds TRT, the Belgium left back. Plays the ball back to Koch. Yeah, Koch seems really okay again after that heavy clash of heads with Matsima. There's Christensen. Well, Frankfurt seem to have settled down a little bit better in these past minutes. This is Christensen. Plays the ball forward, but the Danish right back is controlled, letting him down a little bit there. And Augsburg can slowly begin to venture forward now. They're on the ball. They want to
Fellhauer again.
They want to get away from that dangerous position in the table. Opportunity here for Augsburg, but his touch was wrong. Still opportunity.
Oh my goodness.
Brilliant tackle there by Robin Koch. He got his tackle in just before Augsburg were getting ready to pull the trigger.
Well, look at Dino Topmiller, can't believe it, but again, the pace of Kader, he may have been offside here actually, but he was just so fast, and you said his touch let him down. He actually recovers this so well and wants to slide a pass across, but it's Robin Koch who manages to get in there before the Frankfurter player, before the Augsburger player can get in there. So really good job there, but I think this would have been offside.
Would it?
May have been offside because of Kader's position at the halfway line.
As we see the red, green and white flags of the Augsburg supporters, quite a few making their way up from Augsburg. It's about a 2-hour journey to Frankfurt. Frankfurt, of course, the financial center of the European Union, one of the biggest bank cities in Europe, and with a very good football club. Here's Robin Koch. He's seen a lot of the ball, the Eintracht captain, and let's see what Augsburg can do. Well, they've shown that they can be dangerous twice, Kai.
Certainly they've done that, but both times blown off for an offside call. Just a reminder to our listeners listening in from across the African continent or on our YouTube channel, DW Africa. Thank you so much for joining us. Shout out to our partners at Ray Power FM in Nigeria. We always love having you on the show with us, watching the Bundesliga and listening. It's always good to have you.
And UBC, of course.
And UBC, of course. How can we forget?
Our
As another player goes down.
Goodness me, another Augsburg player going down there in a collision.
It's Kader
colliding, and Manuel Baum having a word with his coaching staff. It was a good run by Giannoulis, the man who gets the most crosses into the ball. Well, it was a clearance by Mo Dahoud, and he cleared the ball off the face of Paul Kader.
Paul Kader's left eye.
Well, so the player's taking a lot of knocks this afternoon, but it was only the ball that went into his face. So I'm sure he'll be able to continue being a centre forward. Christensen changing his shirt, don't know why, and Kader.
It's been a pretty strange start to this match, Alex, I have to be honest.
It certainly has, very unusual.
Players getting injured, offside calls,
goal disallowed.
We've had a lot already. It's not even been, it's been 20 minutes now. This game has flown by.
Still 0-0, but plenty to talk about. And Can Uzun, of course, the Frankfurt supporters hoping that Can Uzun will come on in the course of the afternoon. He's the very talented Turkish player, one of the youngsters who've set the Bundesliga on fire, Can Uzun, and supporters hoping to see him with Mario Götze, but Uzun's on the bench. He's been injured for a really long time. And Bahoya, he's on the bench too. Jean-Matteo Bahoya, the French player, the French Cameroonian. And he is, as you know, Kai, being clocked as the fastest ever player in the Bundesliga, hitting a speed of over 36 kilometers, still not beaten. He's on the bench today. Jean-Matthieu Bahoya, he's the French Cameroonian, and we might see him come on in the course of the afternoon. This is Skiri, the Tunisian international, plays the ball to his right, to Christensen. It's a slow, patient build-up by Eintracht. Here they come once more. This is Dahoud, plays the ball forward, and very slow and patient build-up by Frankfurt. They don't really know how to open up these two rows of Augsburg defenders. And Noah Masengo, the French Congolese player there, organising his defenders as he should. He's a holding midfield player, used to play for Burnley, Masengo, and for Bristol City.
Oh, good play here.
Good
Excellent
play here.
by
Opportunity of Frankfurt with Knauf almost getting a shot on target, but well blocked by Augsburg, who tried to free themselves from the Frankfurt grip. But the ball's picked up once more by the home side, by Eintracht. Augsburg, though, they've managed to keep the home crowd pretty quiet till now. But here they come. This is Christensen doing very well. He gets into the penalty area. It falls to Knauf. Knauf, a good save by Finn Darman. It falls to
my
TRT.
goodness.
And he hammers it over the crossbar, the Belgian defender.
Well, TRT may have the best hair on the pitch, but he doesn't have the best finish. Unfortunately, his body goes way over, and this was actually a really good chance, Alex. He had the
goal gaping at
goal
his mercy.
gaping, yeah.
I thought TRT, well, you can see why he's a defender there.
Yeah,
He
no
just
shame.
swung his boot at the ball, and it could have gone in, with Finn Darman struggling to get that ball under control. Still 0-0 here at the Deutsche Bank Park in Frankfurt.
Well, Alex, you know, it's easy for us to commentate. It's much harder to do this on the pitch. So let's cut TRT some slack.
Let's not be too critical of good old TRT. Frankfurt with a ball recovery time of just 13.3 seconds, and Augsburg taking much longer, 22 seconds to get the ball back. So not really, shall we say, intent on getting the ball back, but they're doing well here. Over on that far side, but that was poor control by Giannoulis, the ball coming off his shin and going into touch, and Manuel Baum, the Augsburg coach, pacing the touchline there, and wondering how he could get more out of his players.
So, you know, there's been quite a lot of talk about Dino Topmüller and him being under pressure. Alex, I think that's a bit unwarranted, considering the type of young team, developing team that Frankfurt is, don't you think?
Yeah, of course. And when you think the quality of players they've lost Marmoush to Manchester City, Ekitike to Liverpool. I mean, that is expensive, of course. And don't forget, Johnny Burkhardt, the man they've bought from Mainz, he's been injured for a long time. So who's going to score the goals for Frankfurt? They've got to rely on Ansgar Knauf, who's not an out-and-out centre-forward. He's a winger, and he's got the number 7 on his back, the German Ghanaian. But he's not a real centre-forward like Johnny Burkhardt, who's still injured, of course. And Marmoush and Ekitike being, of course, in the Premier League. How do you think Marmoush has fared for Manchester City till now?
Well, he started off so well. He scored a hat-trick, and I think his first or second game there for Manchester City. But he's, of course, had to fight for his place in the front here. Wait, we can talk just now, but it looks like Kader for Augsburg has gotten the better of the defense again.
Good defending, though, by Frankfurt, but they concede a corner. Fellhauer putting pressure on the defenders. Marmoush struggling a little bit, but of course the man he's got to get past is Erling Haaland, of course.
Which is something that probably no striker ever wants to have to do, but
Ekitike, you happy with him? I know you've got a soft spot for Liverpool.
Despite the season they're having at the moment, I mean, Ekitike, I think most agree that despite Liverpool's poor season so far, Ekitike has been probably the brightest spark of that.
There's been a lot of talk about plenty of Bundesliga players being flops in the Premier League. Being flops, I think that's a bit unfair. But when you think of Timo Werner, of Naby Keita, the Guinea midfielder there, or Christopher Nkunku, Jadon Sancho, Henry Mkhitaryan, Christian Pulisic even, Shinji Kagawa, the Japanese player, they've all not really come through in the Premier League. Do you think that there's a reason And we're all worried about Florian Wirtz if he's going to make it for Liverpool in the Premier League.
No, I don't think it's a thing that is necessarily true. Remember, there are plenty of ex-Bundesliga players who have played well in the Premier League. Plenty of them have gone there and actually done far better things than actually were expected. I mean, and there is also a lot of transfer in this team alone from Frankfurt. As you mentioned, 2 players that have come from the Premier League are playing here. It's hard to say that, but I think a lot of this has got to do with Florian Wirtz not delivering to the same heights that he's normally able to deliver to.
I think the speed of the Premier League maybe is surprising if you're a newcomer.
Well, that's
the hectic, speed.
That's true, but I also think Florian Wirtz has been quite unlucky. I mean, he has actually played really well in some of the games for Liverpool, but he just doesn't always register as getting assists or goals. He's just not that kind of player.
Hasn't scored yet. Liverpool, of course, entrenched in that
Mo Salah
saga. And there have been 2 goals in Mönchengladbach. The first one was scored by Wolfsburg, and the second one is the equaliser, Kuljarakis with an own goal there. So it's Borussia Mönchengladbach 1, Wolfsburg 1, and Hoffenheim, they've taken the lead against the side promoted. Hoffenheim 1-0 up against Hamburg. Grisha Prömmel, the scorer for Hoffenheim there. And Hamburg, may I say, having a difficult season and beginning to struggle. After 7 years, would you believe it, in the second division, they are now 13th and only 3 points off the relegation playoff place as it stands. Frankfurt in 6th, they've moved up a position after the start of play, and Augsburg still in 14th, but they want the 3 points. Everybody expecting the 3 points here in Frankfurt, but it's still 0-0. I can't believe it's still 0-0, Kai.
No, but they've also not been too many shots, either from Frankfurt or Augsburg, actually testing either goalkeeper. I mean, it's hard to believe that despite so much has happened already in this game, neither goalkeeper has actually made a save so far. Except, no, that's not true. Dahmen has made 1 save, rather routine save, but Zetterer has not had anything to do so far.
Kevin Schlotterbeck, he's the brother of Nico Schlotterbeck, the Dortmund defender. There he is, just played the ball into touch. He's been made captain by Manuel Baum, the Augsburg coach. Still 0-0 here. Match day 14 of the Bundesliga. Come to you from DW Radio in Bonn, as usual, every Saturday afternoon at the same time.
Well, we won't always, Alex, because soon it's the winter break.
It's the winter break. And next week is the last game before the winter. And dare I say, we might be doing Hamburg against Frankfurt. So if you're a Frankfurt fan, you're getting plenty of information about them. We hope to furnish you with as much information as possible about the Bundesliga. Here come Augsburg. Good run this by Banks. Noah Kai Banks, that was.
They get another corner out of this here. You know, Banks, he is, I believe, eligible for the United States national side. Do you think there's a chance we might see him at next year's World Cup?
Absolutely. I mean, he's been called up to the squad.
And Nathaniel Brown, who plays for Frankfurt?
Not too sure. Not too sure. It might be too late. Corner to Augsburg, the visitors. Oh, that's a poor one.
Whoa.
Or is it? Headed away, though, by Chaibi, and it goes out for the corner on the other side. That was actually Nabdi Collins, the German-Nigerian, playing alongside Robin Koch. And it's another corner to Augsburg. And up comes Christian Matsima once more.
This is one area I think Augsburg can hurt Frankfurt.
Yeah, with high balls.
We saw how Barcelona managed to hurt Frankfurt.
Well, Frankfurt lost it in the space of 3 minutes. They were suddenly 2-1 down.
Yeah.
2-1 down. Corner to Augsburg, taken over on that far side. It's a short one. The ball plays back. And it's time to get the ball into the penalty area. I think the opportunity may have gone. Good work, though, still by Augsburg to try and keep the pressure on. Claude Maurice, that was on the ball. It's a long ball into the penalty area, but too high.
The thing is that the goal that ultimately undid Frankfurt was an unbelievable cross from Marcus Rashford, who's having a renaissance.
Right. Marcus Rashford
for Barcelona.
At the No Camp. That was a brilliant cross. Came on as a substitute, Rashford, the former Manchester United player.
Well, he is still a Manchester United player. He's on loan.
He's on loan, and I think Barcelona might keep him. That would be an amazing turn of events in his career, joining Barcelona.
Well, the thing is, and there is also a German connection here, Alex, because the coach of Barcelona is Hansi Flick, former German national team coach, Bayern coach, who's managed to actually turn things around for Marcus Rashford.
Very much so, as he has for the whole of the Barcelona setup. Real Madrid in problems with former Leverkusen coach Xabi Alonso. Will he manage to keep his job? Can he keep his job? I didn't see it coming either, but in spite of that defeat, 2-1 against Manchester City in midweek in the Champions League, Real Madrid saying that they give him a little more time, Xavi Alonso at Real Madrid. The ball played back by Noakai Banks to his keeper. I think maybe Augsburg beginning to feel that they might stand a chance here.
Yeah, they've managed to claw their way back into the game, that's for sure.
Yeah. Here is Masengo, who's on the ball, and he finds Claude Maurice. Alexis Claude Maurice plays the ball out to Noakai Banks. Banks trying to take on the defenders, and he's run himself into a corner. Plays it back. Good ball, though, that was. Plenty of Augsburg players forward. Here's Masengo. Plays it back to Maxima. Good football this by Augsburg, but they've got to release the ball a little bit earlier, I think. Banks on the ball now, being forced back. Good pressing, and he's forced to play the ball all the way back to his keeper, Finn Dahmen. Dahmen, of course, used to play for Mainz, but he settled down very well as the number one at Augsburg. The fastest player on the pitch is Dimitrios Giannoulis, 33.4 kilometers, followed by Pharrell Namadi Collins, just a little bit slower than him. That's not bad.
Still very quick, that's for sure.
Indeed. Wolfsburg have taken the lead now at Borussia Mönchengladbach. It is Gladbach 1, Wolfsburg 2, and Mo Amoura, the Algerian centre forward there, doing so well at Wolfsburg, putting them 2-1 up against Gladbach. What a game that seems to be. And Hoffenheim have scored a second goal against Hamburg. It's Hoffenheim 2, Hamburg 0. Grisha Premel and Omar Kabak, the scorers there. Hoffenheim enjoying a very good season, surprising a lot of people, Hoffenheim. And would you believe, Kai, they are up to 4th in the table in a Champions League spot.
Danger here for
Masengo swung his boot at the ball, but he was blocked by Eintracht Frankfurt. And they tried to build once more, Augsburg. Masengo on the ball, the holding midfield player. Augsburg being pushed, but they're doing very well. I think they've grown in confidence. What do you think?
Certainly. Look at this. They've got a chance to go forward, but the ball goes
seeding a corner there. Giannoulis.
Well, I have to say, Alex, the longer this game has gone on, Augsburg have definitely grown into it, and we're seeing them play more in the Frankfurt half than the other way around.
Yes, I think they've become
I would like to see them
better.
I would like to see them put the ball back into the mixer here, because that's where they looked most dangerous.
Maxima bravely coming up for the corner.
I don't think he wants necessarily to go charging in for
He's
a
got
header.
a big lump on his forehead, though, after that collision. In he comes, but Setterer rises high and gets hold of the ball, bowls it out over arm, and Frankfurt have a chance to attack. Here they come. This is Knauf, but good defending it was by...
I think, the excellent defending there in the end by, I think it was Fellhauer in the end. No.
Good defending that was, I think, by Jakic.
Yeah, exactly, Jakic.
And Maxima doing very well. And Giannoulis was on the ball there, pinched it, and then gave it away.
Yeah, it was in fact Giannoulis who looks bemused as Ansgar Knauf left sprawling on the ground. It was completely fair play there. Really good defending, actually, by Giannoulis.
So can Augsburg put one past Frankfurt? Claude Maurice, Alexis Claude Maurice, 9 goals last season. No goals still now, though. but his fortunes are sure to get better in the second half of the season. And let me tell you about last night, Kai. There was a youngster on the bench for Leipzig. He's French-Senegalese, and his name was Samba Konate. And he's coming through the ranks at Leipzig like so many players of African descent. Samba Konate, French-Senegalese. And the reason why I'm saying this, because the guy is only 16, would you believe?
Very, very young player there. So
and
it's
he's
not just
already made his debut last week for Leipzig.
So it's not just Arsenal that are playing 16-year-olds in senior games.
Not yet, no, not just Arsenal. But Leipzig on the receiving end, losing 3-1 to Union Berlin. And it was good to see Elias Anza, the German-Ghanaian striker there amongst the goals with a very fine goal. Here come Augsburg once more. This is Jakic. No, this is Fellauer. He's got support in the form of Cardi. Cardi tries to get the ball in. Good defending, though, by Tiat. Cardi picks the ball up, plays it back to Noakai Banks. Plenty of possession here for Augsburg. They're playing the ball around with confidence. I'm surprised at this. Here's Jakic, slips it forward. It's all about the cross now. That was risky. He gave it away too easily.
Cardi cops another ball to the head unwillingly, but the ball ends up still in possession of Augsburg. I have to say, they just look like they want the ball more, these Augsburgers.
They certainly do, as the ball goes into touch, though, with Fabian Rieder swinging his boot at the ball. That wasn't good enough, says Manuel Baum.
Well, Alex, the game has really flown by. We're already in the 36th minute.
Yeah, 10 more minutes, still a half-time whistle. And
Dino Topmuller not looking
too convinced. No, he's not looking too convinced, I must say, because I think Augsburg take a lot of confidence from their victory against Leverkusen last week, and that's why they've surprised a lot of people.
Well, remember, Leverkusen, okay, at the beginning of the season, there was a lot of chaos for them, but they've actually played really well in the Bundesliga, haven't they, Alex?
Very well, very well. And we were talking about Hugo Etiquette, the French striker who used to play for Eintracht Frankfurt. Well, he's put Liverpool 1-0 up against Brighton and Hove Albion in the very first minute. Liverpool 1, Brighton 0, and it's Hugo Etiquette, the scorer in the first minute. So I bet Frankfurt supporters will be longing to see him
danger
back.
here for Frankfurt, if they can get... No, they can't. Unfortunately, it was, again, that man, Ansgar Knauf, racing after the ball here, but not able to get there before Banks or Finn Dahmen. And sums up the afternoon so far for Frankfurt. They've just not been able to have any sort of finishing touch, I guess.
They need Hugo Etiquette up front. But
Well,
he's doing it for Liverpool. And Chelsea 0, Everton 0. That is the scoreline from Stamford Bridge at the moment. And we haven't got too many games in the Bundesliga today because of the European commitment. Opportunity here for Frankfurt. Frankfurt will a chance and a fine save.
Oh my goodness.
Very good save there by Finn Dahmen. The Frankfurt striker was clean through, and Dahmen doing very well. It was Elias Kiri, the Tunisian international there. The Dahmen, I think, did very well. Don't you think, Kai?
Dahmen did really well. We're just seeing that this was going to be called back for an offside situation, but none of them could know that, and Finn Dahmen does really well there, certainly.
And Fabian Rieder, the Swiss international, he was back. He, too, signing from Rennes. Rieder actually is Augsburg's leading scorer with just 3 goals.
That's quite a fascinating statistic, Alex, because that just also points to the problems that Augsburg have had in actually finding the back of the net and consistently scoring. Because as we know in football, you kind of need that to win games, don't you?
You certainly do.
It's just funny. We've seen a few shots of Frankfurt coach Dino Topmuller scribbling things down in a notebook. I'm guessing that's not his Christmas wish list, is it?
I doubt it. Wolfsburg, though, 3-1 up now at Mönchengladbach.
Oh, my goodness.
Patrick Wimmer getting a 3rd goal, his 2nd on the afternoon. And St. Pauli, would you believe, in the relegation battle, they take the lead against Heidenheim. And that is a very important scoreline Martin Kars, he's the Dutch striker, their record signing, Martin Kars, and he's put St. Pauli 1-0 up after some good work by Fujita, the Japanese-Nigerian player there. So great scoreline for St. Pauli supporters. St. Pauli of Hamburg 1-0 up against Heidenheim. Wolfsburg leading 3-1 in Mönchengladbach, and Hoffenheim leading Hamburg by 2-0. Well, the only game, Kai, that hasn't had a goal. What can we say?
Well, we can say that there's been, but oh my goodness, Alex,
that
this
was
looks
another
like a
collision.
nasty
Goodness
collision
me.
here.
Augsburg and Frankfurt.
Oof.
Two players colliding there heavily, and I think it's the first yellow card of the afternoon.
But to who? Both players look equally hurt here.
Frank Willenborg coming across. Claude Maurice taking a heavy knock on his bandaged knee. He's got a strap round his knee. I think he's going to be yellow carded, and Christensen colliding. Yellow card to Claude Maurice. That's the first yellow card that we've had. Christensen, who's a big guy, colliding
bit harsh
heavily.
To be given.
Oh, that was, both went in with outstretched legs. Thank goodness they seem to be able to carry on, because that's the kind of collision that can break a leg, Kai.
Yeah, and I think Claude Maurice is a bit unlucky to be the only one carded in here, if at all. It looked more accidental than anything else, but here we are. Christensen is able to continue to...
Fortunately, Rasmus Christensen, the Danish right back, and Claude Maurice, the French Guadeloupe player.
Almost a giveaway for a back pass there. Luckily, Frankfurt have not messed that up.
Here come Augsburg, taking courage that they've not really been put under serious pressure by Eintracht. And I still say Eintracht missing a target man.
They're missing a target man, but they're also missing a calming presence in midfield, Alex. If I'm honest, if I were to wager, I'd say that Augsburg look closer to scoring the opening goal even here.
Yeah, well, it's been a good performance till now by the visitors. The grey mouse of the Bundesliga, as they call them here. The ugly duckling. The wallflower of the Bundesliga. But they don't mind it. They've been for well over 10 years in Germany's top division. And they thought that they'd got a star coach in Sandro Wagner. But that, sadly for them, didn't work out really well, because he's a big name, Sandro Wagner.
Also a former Germany coach.
Former Germany assistant to Julian Nagelsmann.
Yeah.
And but things didn't really work out for Sandro Wagner, and he had to leave. And they brought in their former coach, Manuel Baum, who was always involved with the club, hadn't really left. And Baum, I think, to be quite fair, has made Augsburg look a better side, better organised than under Sandro Wagner.
Yeah, I can't argue with that, Alex. Certainly can't argue with that, especially if we're looking at the last two matches. Just a reminder to our listeners across the African continent, you can find this transmission at your own radio station across the English-speaking radio stations across Africa, or on our YouTube page, DW Africa. The transmission is there. It's so good to have you as we watch Augsburg trying to break the deadlock here against Frankfurt. And
Giannoulis not happy there. He thought he'd won a corner.
Giannoulis, I think, is a bit hard done by here. I think he did deserve a corner out of this, because Christensen, who's been busy, is the last player to have touched this, I think. Hard to say.
Surely we're going to have a goal before half-time. What do you think?
Well, we've got only 2 or 3 minutes before that. Although, Alex, I do believe there will be some stoppage time because of the injuries.
The two collisions that we've had.
And the VAR decision, too. Anyway, here come Augsburg. Again, looking more dangerous than Frankfurt, which I have to say I'm a bit surprised about. But luckily, the referee's blown a foul in favor of Frankfurt, which allows them to reset, and they play it left here. Tiate.
We want a goal here, Kai. 0-0 between Frankfurt and Augsburg. Hoffenheim 2-0 up against Hamburg. Mönchengladbach 3-1 down to Wolfsburg. And St. Pauli 1-0 up against Heidenheim. Leverkusen face Cologne in the big Rhineland derby. Later this evening, the kickoff. Leverkusen against FC Cologne. Leverkusen, who fared reasonably well against Newcastle in the Champions League. The game finished in a 2-2 draw. Maybe a rather flattering result for Leverkusen there.
I think that Leverkusen lost that game. I think it was 2 drop points for Leverkusen rather than them hanging on there. I think, okay, they did come back to draw the game, but before that they were actually in control. I think they gave it away a bit, to be honest, especially with one of the goals that they conceded.
TRT with a good cross, and it's headed away by Masengo. Good defending there by the French-Congolese player Masengo, helping out in the defence. He's a holding midfielder there, and Augsburg trying to free themselves, but Frankfurt's push is very heavy. And the ball picked up here once more by Chaibi, but it was handball, says Frank Willenborg, the referee, and it's a free kick to Augsburg, much to the anger of the home
It's been
crowd.
a frustrating game for players like Fares Chaibi, who've never, I mean, here, this just sums up his game so far. The ball comes off his chest, goes onto his hand. It is a handball. It should be blown, but it sums it up. He's just not been able to get into gear. No rhythm, nothing like that.
So if you were a betting man, you'd still put your money on Augsburg getting the opening goal here?
At the moment,
Very much so. Let me tell you about the games on Sunday. It's Freiburg against Borussia Dortmund. Bayern Munich, top of the table, face bottom of the table, Mainz. And Werder Bremen, they take on Stuttgart. Those are the Sunday games. And you just have to worry for Mainz at the Allianz tomorrow in Munich.
Not a game you want to be going.
If you're a Mainz supporter, if you're a Mainz supporter.
Alex, we're going to get 5 additional minutes.
5 additional minutes because we've had, of course, some injury clashes. I just wonder if Manuel Baum will be thinking of bringing on any substitutes up front, because Augsburg maybe have looked a little bit weak up front. He's got Samuel Essondé, the French-Congolese player. He's on the bench. They've got Saad, the Tunisian, and of course they've got Ismail Garbi, who's an interesting combination of Tunisian, Spanish and French. Ismail Garbi, born in Paris. He might come on in the second half. And I personally would like to see Samuel Essondé coming on in the course of the second half. The French-Congolese player, DOR Congo, that is. And Essondé certainly one option for Manuel Baum. And Elias Saad, the Tunisian, he too an option for the second half. Frankfurt, they've got Uzun, of course. He's not been too fit. Chan Uzun, he might come on. And we hope the best for Eli Wahi, the French Ivory Coast player who joined from Olympique Marseille. And he's at Frankfurt. Not yet really scored in the Bundesliga, 18 games. And we just wonder what his future holds. Wahi, good striker, but it's not worked out for him very well. Of Frankfurt, not had enough games, really. As Timo Topmüller on the bench, wondering what he can do to find his side's scoring prowess. To be quite honest, Kai, I've not been impressed by Frankfurt.
No, they've
considering they're the home side.
No, been more impressed by the fans and the noise they've been making, but they've not had too much to cheer about on this occasion. But, of course, that may change. It's been a stop-start. It's had a stop-start quality, this match, I have to say.
Knauf doing well, plays the ball backwards to TRT. TRT, long ball forward for Knauf to chase, but it's an easy one for the keeper, for Finn Darman. And he's not been troubled enough, has he?
Yes, and the problem is for Frankfurt is that their game plan of setting Knauf free to chase balls with and use his, well, admittedly blistering pace. The Augsburg team have really caught onto this, and they're letting this happen, but they're not giving them. Their defensive gap is just perfect at the moment because they're not giving him the opportunity to run at them, and that's very, very smart defending by them.
Foul by Collins on Kade, and it's a free kick to Augsburg in their own half. I think Manuel Baum, the Augsburg coach, will be quite happy, quite impressed with this side's performance. They are, after all, the visitors here. They've kept Frankfurt busy, certainly more busy at the back than the other way round. Augsburg looking at a different side after Manuel Baum has taken over.
They've looked far less beatable, that's for sure.
Far less beatable. That's a very good way of putting it. Christian Matsima plays the ball to his left, and Augsburg confidently playing the ball around. They certainly believe they can come away from here with a point at least. And Frankfurt must be tired, though, after that exertions at Barcelona. What do you think, Kai?
I mean, that was a great game for them to be in. But yes, the legs may be wearing a bit thin here. But it's not just been that. It's hard to describe, Alex. Things have just not clicked for them.
It's not clicked for them because I think they still need the target man up front. And Knauf has put in a lot of running. But
he has, I mean...
He must be exhausted from Barcelona too. There goes the half-time whistle. It's no goals. The only game with no goals in the Bundesliga this afternoon. It's 0-0 on match day 14 between Frankfurt and Augsburg. And let me just tell you the other half-time scores. Mönchengladbach trailing Wolfsburg by 3 goals to 1, I should say. St. Pauli 1-0 up against Heidenheim, and Hoffenheim 2-0 up against Hamburg.
And don't go away, we have a halftime intermission report where we'll be discussing lots of interesting things related to the Bundesliga and world football. Don't go away, we'll see you just now.
Bundesliga Radio live.
And welcome to the Bundesliga halftime show. Now, it was a mixed week for the German clubs. Bayern had a routine win against Sporting Lisbon, while Dortmund dropped points against the plucky Norwegian team Bodo Glimt. That was a 2-2 draw. Leverkusen also drew 2-2 at home against Newcastle in what was really a wildly entertaining match. Frankfurt played out of their socks away to Barcelona, but ultimately lost 2-1 against the Catalan Giants. However, the biggest story trending in the football world, and especially among fans, was FIFA's announcement regarding ticket prices for the 2026 FIFA World Cup, which has left many fans shocked, disappointed, and baffled. The marquee event is hosted by the United States, Mexico, and Canada. But most venues, matches, and of course, knockout games will be hosted in the United States. 11 of the 16 host cities are in the US. Coupled with fans' concerns about traveling to the United States in the first place for other reasons, such as acquiring visas and the hardline immigration policies of the United States, fans are now being asked to pay about 5 times as much as they did for matches at the last World Cup in Qatar. Tickets for the final are expected to sell for around $4,000, and a family of 4 would have to pay at least $30,000 to attend the World Cup. The executive director of Football Supporters Europe, Ronan Evin, was visibly despondent when answering questions about the ticket prices.
This is a handful of people that are trying to make as much money as possible from the tournament, and we believe this approach is putting the very nature of the tournament at risk, because you need fans, you need the life in the stands, you need the color, you need the atmosphere, and with tickets that are going up to above $4,000 for the final, none of this will happen. FIFA doesn't have the power to control how much a private business owner decides to price the food in his restaurant, their restaurant, or the night in their hotel. But FIFA had control over one cost, which was the ticket price. And instead of making the reasonable decision to keep it at an acceptable level in order to reduce the burden on traveling fans, they multiply the price by 5. It is incomprehensible.
But would this mean that fans would even consider traveling to the United States for the World Cup?
I would say the ticket prices are probably the last drop. A lot of people that were hesitating in traveling to the US are now saying that they need to take an extraordinary financial risk, especially if you're a family. Because we are in the region of $30,000 for a family of 4. The vast majority of football fans can't afford this, even in Europe.
There was also anger that FIFA had opened a platform to resell their own tickets.
FIFA has allowed, for the first time in the history of its tournament, and probably for the first time in the history of football in general, a legal black market. Now you can buy your ticket, and you can buy it for X price. And there are examples of tickets bought for $60 and then resold for trying to be resold for above $2,000 because FIFA hasn't put a ceiling on their resale platform.
Taking all that into consideration, a special advisor to the United Nations Secretary General on Tourism, Anita Mendirata, said that FIFA had missed an opportunity to bring people together.
And this is where, again, at a time when the world is separating in many ways, FIFA has a chance to bring it together. But when it comes to ticket prices, this is when financially it distinctly separates. And that's where, sadly, with FIFA releasing the tickets and the ticketing levels, there is a high degree of financial discrimination that people are feeling.
However, she believes this might open an opportunity for Mexico and Canada to score.
This might actually encourage people to pivot their point of view and look at Mexico and look at Canada. So there are many silver linings here, and there are many goals to be scored, because it's really is about the whole point of the three-nation bid was to enable three-nation benefit. Firstly, they are much softer currencies than the US dollar. So it's going to be much more affordable for people to go to Canada, to go to Mexico, both in terms of the tickets for the matches, but also just the accommodation, the travel, all of that. So there's a little bit of opportunity there for the countries to be able to support it. And I think there's just a higher degree of welcome. There's just a feeling of we're going to be more welcome and celebrated here and have more fun without the psychological barriers of, can we cross borders? Will we welcome? Are we going to be taken advantage of from a costing perspective?
Well, those concerns have certainly not gone away, especially for fans hoping to travel to the United States for the World Cup. Now, let's hear from some of the potential fans living in the United States about how they feel ticket prices are, considering that they are the ones actually hosting the World Cup.
I think they're pretty insane, honestly. You know, I've been a long-time soccer fan, been watching since I was a kid. I remember watching the World Cup back in 2010, 2014, and I was pretty excited to watch this year and go to some of these games. But, you know, even though I have adult money, I can't really afford some of these tickets, which is just insane for the everyday fan.
Just watching all these teams, just feeling the tension with all these teams going back and forth, seeing who's better, who's bad, you know, it's just fun. It's a good way to bond with our family as well. But these ticket prices, I just feel like it's so ridiculous. It's too hard.
Yeah, I think it's crazy. I'm a huge soccer fan, and I used to live in Seattle, so I was definitely considering going to those, but I just don't think I can. And it's also crazy seeing hotel prices go up at the same time. Like, Seattle's one of the highest. It's gone up by like 450%. And so the opportunity for people to come who aren't even American to come support their teams, it's like, normally they could maybe do it, but coming to the American games, it's just can't.
Well, those are some very poignant viewpoints, and we'll be keeping an eye, of course, on how this develops. But now, let's pivot to African football. Now, remember, the AFCON kicks off on the 21st of December in Morocco, and about 18 African players will leave their Bundesliga clubs after match day 14 to join up with their national teams in preparation for Africa's biggest football tournament. There are, of course, some big names. Potentially, Nicholas Jackson will be selected for Senegal. He, of course, plays for Bayern Munich. Rami Benzabahini of Dortmund, he could represent Egypt. Leverkusen alone are set to lose Edmund Tapsoba, Ibrahim Maza, Eliezer Ben Segir, and Christian Kofane, while RB Leipzig will be without Yan Diomande of the Ivory Coast and Amadou Hedara, while Eintracht Frankfurt will lose key playmaker Fares Chaibi and Elias Skiri of Tunisia. Now, that could be a loss of talent for many of the clubs, but it's time now to bring in our colleague and friend and, of course, African football aficionado, Antonio de Dios. So, Antonio, how big of an effect will the AFCON have on Bundesliga teams?
We could say Bundesliga, it's not the most affected top five leagues with the presence of the players going to the AFCON. For example, by experience in Portugal, because in Portugal we keep competition through December and January. Besides league, we still have the Portuguese Cup. Spain do the same. France and England, for example, just to name, well, not top five because Portuguese league is not top five, but you get the point. But Bundesliga, and this is a beneficial for a benefit for an advantage for the Bundesliga teams that we have the stoppage before right before Christmas until the beginning of January. Of course, in the preparation, because we know in the Bundesliga in the winter break all the teams normally do friendlies, what we call international friendlies to prepare. Like it's almost a second double. It's almost a double preseason. You didn't mention a big name because he's not going. Serhou Guirassy, the record breaker African player in 1 year, scoring as many goals as he did last year for Borussia Dortmund, because Guinea is not going to the AFCON. But of course, names like Victor Boniface too from Werder Bremen. This year, it's very particular. I don't remember the last AFCON that players are going to play at Christmas time, in New Year's Eve. But the calendar is like this because we're going to have the World Cup next year. But I think directly in terms of the match day, I think the Bundesliga teams will not suffer as much as other competitive leagues.
You're certainly right about that, but for example, I do think that there must be a level of opportunity for some of the players to actually represent their teams. For example, Nicholas Jackson, who we know is on loan at Bayern Munich, he's not been getting too many starts. But do you think that this is a good opportunity for him to kick on as he plays for Senegal?
I think his problem is not the lack of quality. His problem has two names: Harry Kane. This is his problem, Nicholas Jackson.
Harry Kane and Lennart Karl.
Yeah, you can even put Lennart Karl on the talk, and without Musiala even. But he has talent, and of course, these players that don't have that much minutes in Bundesliga, not for example Tapsoba or Ben Seguir, but of course we are going to. I think that the players will have the opportunity to get some minutes, but I think. I've never played professional football in my life, but between choosing the club or playing for my country, I think there shouldn't even be a discussion here, because the players have the right. Imagine telling FIFA in the World Cup, yeah, we're not sending the best players, we're sending with all the respect, the under 21 or the under 23, because we need the players to do the preseason. I think the problem starts in the top of the pyramid with FIFA and the calendar. If one day all the leagues decide to stop for the AFCON or for the Copa America in order to be played in the right way, I'm totally in favor.
Yeah, and of course, this has been a discussion for a long time. In the past, we saw players, African players, in fact, not play for their country so that they could at least keep their place in their clubs. And of course, there is a lot of discussion about how unfair this is, and also sort of I guess you could call it perhaps the attitude that European clubs have towards the talent that they have coming from Africa and how they view African football. But let's just move on to one particular player, that is Fares Chaibi of Eintracht Frankfurt, and he will be representing, of course, Algeria. Now, wouldn't it be a story if he could lead his country to victory in rivals Morocco? How would that be?
That would be crazy. Chaibi, very good player. Let me put up the name, like Amin Amora from Wolfsburg. Very good player too. Morocco, for me, it's the favorite because they are not the AFCON champions. We have to understand that the AFCON champions, reigning champions, is Côte d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast. But when we see what Morocco did in the World Cup and the expectation, the level is up there with Morocco. What they did, the first African nation to play a semi-final in a World Cup, and losing in the details, in the Mbappé details, etc., with France in 2022. We can talk about Algeria too, because they have been a disappointment. They have been a disappointment in not qualifying even for the last World Cup and not doing a good performance in the AFCON. But players like Chaibi, like Amoura from Wolfsburg, I think they individually, Algeria is always one of the top contenders for the AFCON. I expect a lot from Algeria, but you were talking about Morocco, the rivals, winning at their home place, their home court, I think Morocco is the favorite. And of course, the reigning champions, Ivory Coast, yeah.
Thank you so much, Antonio de Dios. We'll also be hearing from him a little later in this Bundesliga presentation. For now, though, we'll head straight back to the action at Deutsche Bank Park in Frankfurt, where Frankfurt are playing Augsburg. So don't go away. See you just now.
Bundesliga Radio. Live.
Well, Alex Sister, we're back in the Deutsche Bank Park here, and we've just seen images of Nathaniel Brown warming up. What does that mean?
Well, that means that he needs fresh legs. He being Dino Topmüller, he can't be too happy with his Frankfurt side's performance.
No.
It's 0-0 here, and I keep saying they have, of course, been missing very much a centre forward, because they've lost Hugo Ekitike to Liverpool, they've lost Marmoush to Manchester City, and the man they bought to replace them, Johnny Burkhardt from Mainz, he's injured. So basically they've got Ansgar Knauf playing in the centre forward position, and I'm afraid that is not enough for Frankfurt. He's a makeshift centre forward, and so I think they're not really dangerous up front. Augsburg thought, of course, they had the lead 3 minutes into the game when Matsima headed home, but it was disallowed for offside.
Well, Alex, another sub coming on here, and it is Can Uzun. It looks like he's also coming on here. 2 subs at half-time, Alex.
So I think Frankfurt can take heart from that. Can Uzun coming on along with Nathaniel Brown. So that should improve their performance. But of course, he's coming on for Mario Götze, Can Uzun. And a lot of Frankfurt supporters were hoping to see Uzun and Götze play together. But the young Turkish player who signed from Nuremberg, he's on now in the place of Mario Götze. And Fares Chaibi, the man we were just talking about at halftime, he's substituted by Nathaniel Brown, who is a defender.
It's disappointing to see Chaibi come off.
Very disappointing.
Time.
I can't really understand what the tactical setup be, because Chaibi is an attacking midfielder and Nathaniel Brown is a bit of a left back. Let's see what happens. Uzun and Brown on for Frankfurt. No changes for Augsburg, am I right?
No, and I don't know why they would change anything. They have played better so far. No reason for them to do that unless there were injuries.
Yep.
But Nathaniel Brown already in the thick of the action as he gets one clattering challenge from an Augsburg player, but he's back on his feet. And
it's a nice way to say hello, welcome to the game.
Welcome to the game.
Let me remind you, last night, Union Berlin in Berlin, they beat Leipzig, second on the table, by 3-1. And there were quite a number of players of African descent there. Stanley Nsoki for Union Berlin, the French-Congolese player. Derek Kern, the German-Ghanaian. Oluwaseun Ogbemudia, he's German-Nigerian. And the man who scored was Ilyas Ansar, the German-Ghanaian. Very fine header there. He put it at in the back of the net. And Leipzig, they've got plenty of players of African descent.
Alex.
As Frankfurt try to open up the Augsburg defense.
Can Uzun, look at him doing some
good work. Uzun
getting a foul.
He wins a free kick, and a few players collapsing there in front of the referee, and it's going to be a free kick to Eintracht. Mo Dahoud involved.
Look at this.
Good work by
Uzun.
Uzun.
1-2.
Good feet there.
And Fellhauer
coming over and just flattens him, and it's a free kick to Eintracht. Shall we say it's well outside the penalty area. It's on the left-hand side of the Frankfurt attack, and they'll have to go for a really long ball there. But have they got the players to aim for? We've certainly not got a big target man there. And it looks like Doan's going to take the free kick, and we've not seen too much of Victor Doan. Doan indeed takes the free kick. It's a good one, though. It comes to the penalty area. That's a very good header by Christiansen.
Well, Christiansen could have done better here, I think, Alex. He actually takes the whole defense by surprise.
Good header.
Can't just get it low. It's, yeah.
Just over the crossbar.
Just over the crossbar.
Fine header by the defender, Rasmus Christensen.
Well, that's the closest they've come to scoring, Alex, so that's a good start.
Let me just tell you about the players of African descent in the Leipzig squad. Jan Diamonde, the young Ivorian, he had a very good game last night against Union, but he couldn't help his side, stop his side from losing. Then, of course, there's Johan Bakayoko. He's Belgian-Congolese. Castello Lukeba, he's French-Angolan. He's settled down well in the Leipzig defense. Ridler Baku, German-Congolese. DOC, that is. Antonio Musa, Norwegian-Nigerian. El Shaddai Bichiabo, French-Congolese. And a player certainly making inroads in the Bundesliga. Hassan Ouedraogo, he's German-Burkina Faso. We mustn't forget Ezekiel Banzuzi, Dutch-Congolese. And Amadou Haidara, the Malian. We hear he might be leaving Leipzig after a long career at RB. And the man who scored for Leipzig last night was French-Senegalese player Tidiane Gomi. He scored. And we mustn't forget Joyeux Masanga Bungi. He's Belgian-Congolese. So plenty of players of African descent to look at in the Leipzig side. And let's see what's going to happen here.
That was a niggly game here.
Very niggly. That was a foul by Skiri on Kade, Anton Kade, who seems to have settled in as the centre forward here in the Augsburg side. And good work by TRT, who picks up the ball, making inroads, but it's a wayward pass, and it's that is a slip there by the Augsburg defender, but Chrysler Maxima
Schlotterbeck tries to come away there.
But here comes Ozun. Ozun on the ball, lays it across, but Augsburg defending relatively well, but Frankfurt pick it up once more.
Now, space opens up here.
But just look at those two lines of Augsburg players, Kai. They're very well drilled under Manuel Baum. I think that's a big improvement to under Sandro Wagner, when they looked like headless chickens running around the whole pitch. Baum is an experienced coach, and he certainly got his message across. He's, as I said, he never left the Augsburg setup. He remained there looking and coaching the youngsters, so he had a good idea of what was to be expected from this side. Frankfurt, though, with a little opportunity here, but Augsburg somehow get the ball away, but it's played back. Frankfurt keep possession. Skiri lays it out to Christensen. Christensen, who's had a lot of the ball, but intercepted well by Noah Masengo. Masengo, here they come, trying to play their way out of danger. Well, Kai, the press by Frankfurt is much higher and much harder.
Certainly, they've come out like biting at the bit here, have jumping at the bit rather, have Frankfurt, and it's good to see. But if they're able to keep up this energy is another question. Here they give away the foul, and it's Daoud who actually does that. But good positive start here from Frankfurt. They've looked, I'd say, quite a lot better in this first 5 minutes of the second half, Alex.
Well, we've still got Elie Wahi, the French Ivorian, on the bench for Eintracht. We've got Jean-Matteo Bahoya, he's a French Cameroonian, he too on the bench. Jessic Ngankam, he's German Cameroonian, he too on the bench. So we just have to wait and see if any of them come on. Aurel Amenda, he's Swiss Cameroonian. Aurelio Buta, he's Portuguese Angolan. So plenty to choose for Dino Topmüller, as Augsburg try to keep possession of the ball as well as they did in the first half, but it's a long wayward pass there into touch, and it's I'm afraid this is going to be, from an Augsburg perspective, it's going to be a much tougher second half than the first half was for Augsburg. I think they're going to start to struggle.
Well, here they come back.
A little bit of space here. Jakic lays it to his right. They've got to be a bit faster, though. But, of course, fatigue beginning to come in. But we mustn't forget, Frankfurt, they played in Barcelona. They should be the side who are more tired than Augsburg, who had a whole
danger here.
opportunity here. The ball trickling just past the post there. Good opportunity for Augsburg.
And it was Fellhauer again.
Fellhauer, the former Elversberg midfielder, breaking into the penalty area. He didn't connect properly, though. The ball just rolling past.
This was a wonderful flick. If this had gone in, I think it would have been a candidate for goal of the month, Alex, because it's a wonderful flick over the Frankfurt defense, but his finish is he doesn't quite connect with the ball, and it goes wide for Frank. And that's lucky for Frankfurt. I think they've been a bit sloppy in defense, and here again they lose possession of the ball, and Augsburg are back on the attack.
Augsburg with a little bit of space here. This is Kader. Kader's still on the ball. He's got to release it now. But it's picked up by Jakic, the former Frankfurt player, the Croatian. Banks picks it up, the American. The ball played across the field to the right-hand side. It's a good ball into the penalty area, but not good enough to reach the head of Anton Kader there, the Augsburg centre forward. I mean, when you look at the results that Frankfurt have had this season, Kai, it does make you worry, because when you look at some of the results they suffered in the Champions League, they recently lost 3-0 to Atalanta Bergamo. You remember they lost 5-1 to Liverpool here at the Deutsche Bank Park. And they also lost
5-1 against Liverpool was almost flattering.
Against Liverpool, yeah. And then they also lost 5-1 to Atletico Madrid at the ground of Atletico Madrid. And then, of course, they just lost to Barcelona. So they are probably not going to qualify for the next round of the Champions League after conceding a massive amount of goals. But when you look at the results they've had in the Bundesliga, also plenty of goals. A 6-4 win, would you believe, at Mönchengladbach. Then came a 3-4 defeat at home here to Union. And then came a 3-4 win in Cologne.
So what you're saying is it's quite surprising we haven't seen any goals.
It's certainly surprising, yeah.
Either for or against Frankfurt.
Frankfurt mean a lot of goals, indeed.
Yeah.
But it's still 0-0 here. Augsburg trying to open up the Frankfurt defence, but out comes Michael Setterer, formerly of Werder Bremen.
What a throw. Wow.
It's an amazing throw right into the half of Augsburg, but it's picked up by Matsima. And it's a throw in to Eintracht.
This was silly from Matsima.
Matsima kicking the ball away. Yellow card for Matsima. He just kicked the ball away to prevent. I understand what he was doing. It was just to prevent Frankfurt from taking a very quick throw in. So Matsima becomes the second Augsburg player to go into the referee's book. Alexis Claude Maurice, the French Guadeloupe player, the other.
Yeah, I mean, a bit unnecessary. It's nothing you really want for your centre half to be yellow carded this early in the match, Alex. But will that come back to haunt them? We'll have to see, I guess.
Brown with a throw in for Frankfurt. Oh, on that far side. That's the Frankfurt left as Banks slipped at the vital moment, but it's picked up once more by Eintracht. And Augsburg doing very well to keep their concentration and try and play their way out of trouble. Very well done, Augsburg, I'd say there.
Yeah, certainly. Again, Frankfurt just unable to make the vital connection to get. They're clearly a team that is able to make these very fine passing maneuvers, but it's just really not clicked for them so far.
Well, I keep having to repeat myself. They just haven't got a striker. A main striker, a target man.
Well, I disagree with you, Alex, in this game so far. I mean, I agree with you in principle, but they've also not even been able to get to that finishing, like into the final third. Their final touch has just been so poor. They've not had shots on goal, right? Not even from distance, Alex.
This is Doan, who's had a quiet game for his standards. Doan lays the ball across to Skiri. Skiri picks it up. But Augsburg come away with the ball. Can they catch Frankfurt on the break? Here they come. Long ball forward. Opportunity for Augsburg. It's 2 against 3. 2 Augsburg players. A third one coming up. The ball laid across to Jakic.
Oh, my goodness.
Good effort there by Jakic. But he hits a Frankfurt defender there. And the ball goes into touch. What a good counter-attack that was, Kai.
This was the danger that Frankfurt need to be aware of when they go forward like this. And I really think that Augsburg should have done better here. The shot actually comes off poor Kade, who's been battered today. Really, man. The shot comes off him, and we're now seeing close-ups of him. He's got a big plaster on his black eye there from early in the game where he got a ball in his face. He's been in the wars, man.
And we mustn't forget Matsima and Koch colliding with their heads there as Frankfurt try and open up the Augsburg defense. But Augsburg picked the ball up and tried to hit them on the break. Can they do it again? Here they come. Good ball forward. Here come Augsburg. Opportunity here for the visitors. That was a really poor ball by Rieder, I think that was. And the ball picked up by Christensen just below us here with Masongo battling for the ball.
On the other hand, Alex, I kind of like this. The game has become a bit more end-to-end.
Yeah, it is very much end-to-end, you're right. And it's exciting. Both teams feel they can win, which is good for the spectacle. But I'll tell you what scoreline surprises me. It's Wolfsburg leading 3-1 at Mönchengladbach, because Gladbach, they picked up 13 points from their past 5 Bundesliga game.
Also a resurgent team.
Yeah, and that's the kind of form only Bayern Munich have been able to match. 13 points from their past 5. But Wolfsburg, they picked up a welcome 3 points last week, following a 4-game winless sequence, but they are 3-1 up at the Borussia Park. And let's just go through the African players there.
Oh, Alex, before we get to that, St. Pauli have scored again now against Heidenheim.
2-0 to St. Pauli. Excellent for St. Pauli there. And Eric Smith, it seems, has been sent off for St. Pauli, we're told. And Kaas, their record signing, the Dutchman, he's made it 2-0, his second goal. Let me just tell you, the Africans involved, Nathan Ngumu of Cameroon, plays for Mönchengladbach, and they got a youngster, a very young player from Morocco. He's a German Moroccan called Wael Moya. He's their youngest ever Bundesliga player, Mönchengladbach, and quite a few players of African descent for Wolfsburg. Sael Kombedi, he's French-Congolese on loan from Lyon. Mathis Angeli, he's Martiniquais and Malagasy descent. And of course, Moa Moura, who's been amongst the goals, the Algerian. We're sure to see him at the World Cup. And Maurice Jens, Nigerian father, German mother. So those are the players of African descent in the Mönchengladbach versus Wolfsburg game. Moa Moura surely will be starring for Algeria at the World Cup.
Well, Alex, hopefully we will see him. But in this game right now, dangerous signs for Robin Koch on the ground. And as you were saying earlier, you were hoping to see Amonda. He's stripped and ready to go, but Koch looks in a bad way.
He's taken some knocks, hasn't he, Robin Koch?
I don't think he is going to be able to continue. Amonda is getting instructions. And Schlotterbeck coming over to speak, like the opposing captain, coming over to speak to Robin Koch. But Robin Koch does look injured. I'm not sure what's wrong, but he is certainly not in a good way.
Well, Aurel Amonda, he's Swiss-Cameroonian. Koch looking visibly shaken. You sometimes have to pity what players have to go through. They certainly earn their money. They certainly earn their money, Kai. When you think all the activity at Barcelona, Koch comes off, taking some heavy knocks today. And he looks really shaken, visibly shaken, and he points to his ear as if he may have a sound in his ear. So Amenda comes on.
It's a like-for-like substitution there, Alex, and it looks like Christensen has taken over the captain's armband for Eintracht Frankfurt.
Christensen, the captain, and a very fine captain he'll be, I'm sure.
Daoud has also made way for Højlund. Interesting.
Okay, Daoud. Mahmoud Daoud.
Well, this means that Frankfurt only have one more sub, and we're only 61 minutes into the game.
Very true, very true. So Hamburg 2-0 up, Hoffenheim 2-0 up against Hamburg. St. Pauli 2-0 up against Heidenheim. Martin Kaas, their scorer of both their goals. And Wolfsburg, Kai, would you believe, they now lead 4-1 against Borussia Mönchengladbach, and that is at the Borussia Park. And Lovro Majer, the Croatian, making it 4-1 to Wolfsburg. That is some scoreline. That certainly surprises me. And sadly, the only game without a goal is the one here. Do something, Kai.
Well, I wish I could, but we've seen pretty much everything else. We've seen disallowed goals. We've seen smacks to the face. We've seen we've seen blood, sweat, and tears being spilled at this game, Alex, but we haven't seen a goal. You're right about that.
Frankfurt trying to force their way past Masengo, but Masengo standing firm, doing very well. The former Burnley and Bristol City holding midfielder, and the ball's cleared upfield. Augsburg quite confident of being able to trouble Frankfurt here with an attack as...
I think definitely Frankfurt will feel more pressure to score, which I think conversely sort of counterintuitively will open the door for Augsburg here, Alex.
Well, they certainly look confident enough, and that is really something, considering the problems that they've had this season and the amount of defeats they suffered under Sandro Wagner. They look to be a much more solid side now under Manuel Baum.
Well, you say solid. That's a very good point you make, Alex, because part of the physicality of this game has been that they've just been stronger in every aspect, and here they come on the attack again.
Yeah, they've been physically very strong. You're right. Masengo concedes possession, it's a free kick, and Hoffenheim now 3-0 up against Hamburg. What a terrible result for Hamburg. Tim Lemperle putting Hoffenheim 3-0 up there, the man who signed from Cologne. And here is a substitution for Augsburg. Can't really tell you who it is getting ready to come on, but it is a surprising scoreline there to see Hamburg really under the weather, 3-0 down as Augsburg getting ready to make a substitution. We'll tell you who it is in a minute. Good work by Amenda. He's a solid central defender. Here he comes. Plenty of space to run into Amenda. He was brought down there by Kevin Schlotterbeck. That surely be a yellow card for the Augsburg captain. Don't forget, he is the brother of Nico Schlotterbeck. Well, Willenborg decides not to give him a yellow card. I'm amazed. What do you say?
Well, I think this is a bit silly because Schlotterbeck was complaining that Amanda had committed a foul, but this is a very obvious foul.
It was a terrible trip by Schlotterbeck.
And there is a substitution coming in now for Augsburg. Don't know, will they be able to do it before the...
Mert Kumur it is, coming on for Claude Maurice, and Mert Kumur is a German-Turkish player, very promising player, Mert Kumur, and Claude Maurice walking very slowly off the pitch, much to the anger of the Frankfurt supporters. And I think the most exciting game is, if I may say so, is St. Pauli-Heidenheim. Heidenheim pulling a goal back there, Pieringer, making it St. Pauli 2, Heidenheim 1. Eric Smith, the Swedish player, sent off for St. Pauli. 2 goals by Martin Kars to make it 2-1 for St. Pauli. The clash of the two bottom-of-the-table teams. Pauli currently winless in 10 Bundesliga matches, would you believe?
Ozun with a good cross, and it's, oh my goodness, they miss it. Oh my goodness, that was a really, really good cross, Alex.
Well, I just wonder if Augsburg will be opened up in the end by Frankfurt, but I can't really see this happening.
Well, I mean, there was a really good opportunity. It was a wonderful cross by Can Ozun, but no one able to get on the end of it. There you say what you were saying earlier in the game about the lack of a, number 9 striker. And perhaps a Ikitike or a Mamouche figure, perhaps, is where Frankfurt are unfortunately missing. But they have another chance here, Alex.
Opportunity, but they stand firm. They being Augsburg. Masengo, Hannoa Masengo, having a really good game. He's impressed me a lot. Collins picks up the ball. Sorry, Kai, you were going to say something about Masengo.
Well, that's the thing, Alex. He's impressed you, but he has frustrated Frankfurt.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's been everywhere. That is the holding midfielder any team wants to have, playing just in front of the defense. Hannoa Masengo, the French-Congolese player.
And of course, we know that he never invented the holding midfielder role, but the Makelele role, the destroyer.
Opportunity, and they take the lead. Doan, the scorer for Eintracht Frankfurt, and Matsima so annoyed that. I think the ball took a deflection off him. Not really sure. And Frankfurt slightly fortunate to take the lead here. 1-0 to Eintracht. And it's Ritsu Doan, the Japanese outside right, the man who signed from Freiburg. Let's see how this goal came about.
It's a goal that comes out of nothing, really. Doan has the ball. It looks like Augsburg have the ball under control, but Doan sort of rides a few challenges.
Great work by Doan. And I think it came off Matsima.
Yeah, it's a huge deflection.
Oh, that is a deflection. Doan did very well to skate past a few Augsburg defenders, but his shot, I don't think, would have beaten the keeper, but the deflection did. Matsima with the deflection there, sadly for Augsburg. And just look at the celebrations from Christensen. 1-0 to Frankfurt. Is this against the run of play?
But is it being checked again for VAR?
It's been checked. It's been checked. I don't know really what could have happened there. Well, let's hope for
a foul.
Let's hope for Matsima's sake that it's disallowed, but it's not. The goal is given, and Frankfurt lead by 1-0, and it is Ritsu Doan, the scorer there. I don't really know why it was checked.
I think what happened is that in the run-up to the play, there was a foul quite close to the halfway line. I think it was Fellerauer who lost the ball and basically gave the ball away, in which Frankfurt were able to start the attack, but it was very far from goal. I think it would have been a very harsh decision to have pulled that goal back. And Alex, your wish has been granted. We have a goal finally.
We have a goal.
I lost that wager, I guess, that informal wager about who would score first. But will the Augsburgers manage to pull one back here?
Frankfurt 1, Augsburg 0. And
Alex, imagine Frankfurt get a clean sheet.
Yeah, that would be very, very rare. And it seems the goal has been given to Doan. 1-0. They lead here at the Deutsche Bank Park. Just to go back to St. Pauli versus Heidenheim. Heidenheim.
Ooh, Alex, Doan is in again.
Here they go. This is Doan. He's got just one defender in front of him. Doan!
Oh, my goodness.
And a good stop by the goalkeeper, Finn Dahmen there. Doan suddenly turning on the style, and
he's really, the crowd is into it now as well, Alex. It's a bigger vibe here. Doan, again, Matsima making another mistake here, actually. And
Doan doing really well, and a fine stop by the goalkeeper, Finn Dahmen there. And Doan going through, but hitting the outside of the net. He's certainly woken up. It is now 4-0 to Hoffenheim against Hamburg. Aslani, who could be on the books for Bayern. Aslani,
Aslani. Because Aslani is a Kosovo player.
Kosovo player. He's made it 4-0 to Hoffenheim, and that is some result. With St. Pauli and Heidenheim battling the bottom of the table there. Heidenheim scored a stoppage time winner, of course, last week against Freiburg. But Frank Schmidt's team, Heidenheim, they've climbed into the relegation playoff place, and they've done very well to do so because everybody thought they'd gone. They were right at the bottom of the Bundesliga, but Heidenheim doing very well there.
Well, they're not that far out of danger. Let's be frank about that.
They're certainly not, but you just wonder how the coach managed to revive them, to waken them. Here is Masengo, the bravest player on the pitch, I'd say. Here come Augsburg. Still calm football by the visitors, but they mustn't give the ball away so easily as they did here. The ball picked up by Knauf. Ansgar Knauf slips the ball through. Opportunity here.
Ozun.
Ozun with a chance, but the ball comes off a defender. Ozun still battling for the ball just outside the Augsburg penalty area. Ozun. But the ball goes into touch.
This is the difference you have in a player like Ozun. He's very good with the ball at his feet. He's very good at holding up the ball.
And Doan, of course.
And Doan, of course, exactly. But here Ozun manages to hold up the ball. He doesn't panic. He wins another throw in deep in the zone for Frankfurt and takes off the pressure off the midfield. And now,
Good block that was by Matsima, though.
well, here we have a long throw in, Alex. What can we expect here? Can there be a header?
Well, I think the days of the long throw-in are certainly back.
Certainly, yeah. Much to the delight of one Tony Pulis in the Premier League.
Exactly. Formerly of Stoke and Frankfurt. The ball.
Rory Delap makes a post-career comeback in the form of the long throw.
Maybe in the form of his son, Liam Delap, who plays for Chelsea, of course.
Yeah.
Here's Masengo, my Augsburg player of the afternoon. Anoa Masengo. Matsima on the ball. Augsburg still believing this is Jakic against his former club. The ball played forward, but the Frankfurt press much stronger than the first half. And
referee gets in the middle of... Referee gets in the way of the ball, and it's a dropped ball situation.
Willenborg, the teacher, taking care that the rules are obeyed. Opportunity here, but the ball rolling through to Michael Setterer in the Frankfurt goal. Well, I can't see Augsburg forcing their way back into this game, although I have to keep saying Frankfurt have every reason to be more tired than Augsburg, because Frankfurt, let me keep reminding you, were in action against Barcelona in midweek, a game they lost 2-1. Long ball forward for Frankfurt, and Matsima is there. Christian Matsima plays the ball back to his keeper. Oh, that was close.
Yeah. Playing with fire there, with Knauf lurking.
Knauf was lurking, but Finn Dahmen kept his nerve, and Augsburg doing well to come away with the ball. Here they come, a little bit of space here. The ball played forward, but Amenda is there to tidy up and play the ball back to his keeper, Setterer. So St. Pauli still with a slender lead there.
But not cleanly, Alex. It looks like it was it Christensen who... No, it was Holland who was
holding on to Fabian Rieder, the Swiss player.
Yeah.
And it's a free kick to Augsburg. I think they deserve a goal, Augsburg. What do you think?
Well, they have to... It's not about...
Two more substitutions, Kai, for Augsburg.
Will they get them in before, though? Yes, and Masengo is making way. He's had a good game, this man.
I can't believe they're taking off Masenga.
Actually, I can, because they're putting on...
Garbi comes on.
And I think they're aiming for... They put on another striker here.
I think it's Isond. So Masengo, who had a brilliant game, I think, replaced by Ismail Garbi, and Samuel Asende Isond coming on for the remainder of the game.
Oh, what a cross this is.
Opportunity here, the header over the crossbar there. So Samuel Isond coming on for Fabian Rieder.
Schlotterbeck becomes the next player to have a potential concussion here, because he is clutching his face.
Skiri, I think that is.
Yeah, it's Skiri and Schlotterbeck, but Schlotterbeck is back up. It was a dangerous cross here. See, this was the foul that the Augsburgers were complaining about, but wasn't called a foul before Doan goes and scores. But yeah, another clash of heads.
Oh, that was a lucky goal. When we see the replay, how it came off poor Christian Matsima.
Yeah, it was fortunate perhaps for Doan, but you got to shoot for an opportunity to come.
Yeah. So Samuel Isond, the French DOC striker there, coming on and given a chance to show what he can do. Augsburg, they got plenty of time to try and force their way back. Here they come, over that far side. This is Fellhauer. The ball comes into the penalty area.
Whoa.
And they almost made contact there. Two Augsburg players coming in, but somehow they failed to make contact with the ball. The ball picked up by Frankfurt, but Augsburg doing very well. Play on, says the referee. The ball played forward. And
danger for Augsburg in this situation. Frankfurt is really good at a counter-attack. We saw that against Barcelona, but
Kevin Schlotterbeck doing very well to block the pass from Ritsu Doan, the man whose goal separates these two sides. Frankfurt 1, Augsburg 0. A deflected goal by Rizzo Doan separating them here as St. Pauli still lead in that vital bottom of the table class. St. Pauli with some interesting players of African descent. Joel Shima Fujita, born in Tokyo, his father Nigerian, his mother Japanese, and he chose to represent Japan internationally, Fujita. Opportunity here. Knauf on the ball. Surely he was bundled over.
No.
But play on, says the referee. Knauf thought he'd been bundled over there by the Augsburg defender. And Willenborg coming back.
Actually, he's given the foul against Knauf here.
Okay. Banks was maybe made to... well, he charged him off the ball there. Yeah, he quite right, Willenborg there, because Knauf charged Banks off the ball.
Yeah, Banks was in front of... got the step on him there, yeah.
And,
but this is the danger with Knauf. He's just so quick. Like, that's, you know, even when he doesn't have the ball, he's a danger to players. You know,
he's very dangerous, yes, but he's not a centre forward.
No, certainly not.
But he's been doing well as the makeshift centre forward because Johnny Burkhardt will be out injured for some time now, the former Mainz player. And they've lost a lot of striking power, Frankfurt, as we told you. Omar Mamouche and Hugo Ekitike now applying their trade in the Premier League and doing quite well. The ball played across here, but Christiansen, who has arguably been Frankfurt's player of the game.
Yes, and we're seeing one final substitution for Frankfurt.
Yet another substitution. Off goes Ansgar Knauf, who must be exhausted after Barcelona and after today. Well, he's certainly given his all, Ansgar Knauf.
And you can hear the fans signaling their appreciation for him.
Knauf comes off, hugs from Dino Topmüller, and Frankfurt with Jean-Matteo Bahoya is the man who's just come on, the fastest man in the Bundesliga.
Danger here.
Opportunity here for Augsburg. Can they get a shot on target? Maybe now. Augsburg with plenty of players in the penalty area. But that was a rather wasted cross. Goodness, they should have done better there. They should have done better. Fellhauer just gave the ball away, although there were so many Augsburg players forward. But I've got to say, I've been very impressed by Augsburg. Here they come, still believing they can get something. This is Jakic, plays the ball into the penalty area. There's Essond, but his header is looping over the crossbar there. Just to tell you that...
just another thing to say is I'm so impressed by Setterer's ability to hurl the ball so far. I mean, he doesn't even need a goal kick. He can throw the ball from one end of the pitch to almost 3/4 of the way, Alex.
Yeah. So Jean-Matteo Bahoya, I guess, will be in the centre-forward's position now after Ansgar Knauf was taken off. And Bahoya, I keep reminding you, the fastest man in the Bundesliga.
And Essond, number 9, I think has reprised a very much number 9 position, centre forward. I think he'll be the target man for these closing stages.
He will. Islam Matsima plays the ball out of defence, but it's picked up once more by Frankfurt. But it's a free kick to Augsburg. Still around 10 minutes remaining, just under 10 minutes of normal time remaining, Kai.
Yeah,
can you see Augsburg coming back?
I can see many things. I think Augsburg will manage to take heart from the fact that Frankfurt do have what's known as a leaky defense.
Yeah.
That might be in their. I mean, remember they shipped 6 goals last weekend against RB Leipzig, and I know RB Leipzig does have a good striking force with players like Diomande and stuff, but still, they've conceded many goals this season. At Frankfurt.
But Frankfurt beginning to turn on the style. Good sweeping moves now. The ball picked up by Christiansen, who's seen so much of the possession here. Frankfurt looking really well, looking really in form. Suddenly, this second half has been much better.
Yeah, they've been
first
a lot more, so much more improved.
Doan trying to pick out Christiansen there. And sorry, that's a foul.
Yeah.
Janulis, was it a foul on Christensen, or it was a foul by Christensen? You could see that by the reaction charging into Janulis, tripping him there by the corner flag, and it's a free kick to Augsburg. Well, if they want to score, Kai, two more substitutions. Marius Wolf coming on, the former Borussia Dortmund player.
Oh, and Janulis has come off.
Janulis is off. He looks disappointed, Janulis. Off he comes. Marius Wolf coming on for the Greek winger. And we just wonder.
Yeah, just another note in the Hamburg game between Hamburg and Hanover. Hamburg fans have a consolation goal. They've just scored, have Hamburg, but it is still 4-1 now. So that's still looking like a heavy loss for the people for the team from Hamburg. However, their other team from Hamburg, St. Pauli, is still 2-1 ahead against Heidenheim, but they do have a man short on the pitch after, as you said, Eric Smith's red card.
Indeed, yeah. And Dapo Afolayan is another player of African heritage, born in London. He has Nigerian heritage. Afolayan, that makes him eligible to play for Nigeria. And then they've got Romeo Aibekam, born in Germany. He's got German nationality, but he's got Nigerian roots. And we mustn't forget Abdoulaye Cissé. He's Gambian, born in Gambia, and he plays for the Gambian national team. And the player who's injured but has been so important for St. Pauli, Andreas Huntonji, born in France to a Beninese father and a French mother.
Problems here for Frankfurt as they try and defend an attack here. They have it in the box to Augsburg, but can they get a shot away? Not yet. They pass it out wide. Is the ball coming in? It's a good cross. Oh, and it's, well, completely scythed by. And it's back on the right wing side, Alex. Can they get another shot in?
Marius Wolf, fresh legs on the wing. They're pushing.
I have to say, I was quite surprised by the shift from Dortmund to Augsburg for Marius Wolf.
Well, I think his best days are over without wanting to be too unkind. But there you go. And of course, St. Pauli still leading 2-1 against Heidenheim. Omar Traore, he's German Togolese, and Serlud Conti, German Ghanaian. They are involved in that game as Augsburg are forced to play all the way back. And the Frankfurt supporters getting stronger and stronger in voice. Their team with a narrow 1-0 lead.
Well, we're into the last 5 minutes of regulation time, Alex, now.
So if Augsburg want a goal, they better start thinking of getting it quickly. It's a slender lead. Opportunity here for the visitors. They're in the penalty area. Good trick there.
Good play.
Excellent play there.
Oh, goodness and that
me.
Flashes across the frame here. It was a bit of a...
Mats Pedersen, that was. Good football.
Really good football here. Shaqiri gets absolutely upended there.
Mert Kumur, that was, doing ever so well, showing off his skills on the touchline.
Danger! Oh my goodness, it's in!
Augsburg have got the equaliser, and it's Noah Kai Banks, and I think it's a goal that they really deserve. What do you say, Kai?
Yeah, certainly. That was coming. You could feel it. Dino Topmuller must be shaking his head because it's again as they're unable to defend a corner.
Well, Augsburg never gave up. It's 1-1. And it's Noah Kai Banks, the American right back, who is there to force the ball over the line. They want a VAR decision yet again, Frankfurt, would you believe? But I can't really see what happened there.
Unless...
They're saying it was offside. But, I mean, how many goals are we going to have disallowed by VAR? It is really difficult. It's really difficult. The ball came off Banks, Noah Kai Banks, a wry smile from Manuel Baum, looking as if he enjoyed that goal, and I bet he did. Now let's hope for Augsburg's sake that that goal counts.
I can't see why they would have pulled it back, and have they pulled it back?
Well, certainly plenty of discussions there. The players surrounding the referee.
I mean, Alex, I really don't understand what
That
kind
will
of
be the
infringement.
second goal disallowed for Freiburg, for Augsburg this afternoon.
Yeah.
Would you believe? The referee's going to make a decision. He's probably going to disallow the goal. Would you believe it, Frank Willenborg?
But is this for an offside
This
decision?
is probably for an offside decision, as Manuel Baum looks very dejected, the Augsburg coach. And that would be really tough on Augsburg to have a second goal disallowed.
For offside.
For an inch of offside, less than an inch. Willenborg certainly taking his time to announce the decision. Maybe he's waiting for the VAR to get into his ears.
But he's telling the players, look, sorry, I can't make the decision. This is a VAR decision. So remember, fans, that this isn't a thing that the referee can decide here. This just gets taken upstairs.
Well, that will be really tough for Augsburg. What do you think?
Very tough indeed. This would be the second goal disallowed. Well, you know, somebody who does look disappointed is Manuel Baum.
Just look at that.
Either he knows something already,
yeah,
or we're gonna see at least a smile on his face here.
Yeah, Willenborg still waits to see. This is, of course, Kai. This takes too long, in my view. They've got to come to a quicker decision.
Yeah.
It's difficult for the commentators, it's difficult for the supporters, and it's difficult for the players. Willenborg looks at his watch to see how much time has been
officially. We've
wasted.
only got 2 minutes left of the match.
Well, he'll have to add on another 3. We're still waiting to see if that equaliser by Augsburg counts or not. Willenborg smiles. The players look to the sky, and we just cannot tell you if that goal by Nokai Banks.
We're being held in suspense, Alex.
Or not. We're certainly being held in suspense. It's taking too long, Kai. It's taking too long.
It certainly is.
I mean, just think of it. We've got the World Cup in the summer. If this is going to be what it takes, it's just too long. I guess they want to be really sure as we watch the replay of the equaliser. Well, if you
was it a foul, perhaps? Is that what they're looking at here?
Well, various things. It could have either been offside or a foul on Bahoya. Let's see. He's going to have a look at the monitor, Frank Willenborg. No, he's going to announce it. No, goal disallowed. Goal disallowed for offside, and it's a really tough afternoon for Augsburg. It's the second goal that they score that is disallowed for offside, as Arthur Thiaté comes across and pats the referee on his stomach and says, well done. This is just too tough for Augsburg. You really have to feel sorry for them, Kai.
I think that I mean, yeah, I do feel a bit sorry for them. I'm supposed to stay objective, but after that, that's a really tough decision for Augsburg.
2 goals disallowed.
And we're not talking about like a clear offside. We're talking about perhaps centimeters,
inches. 7 minutes of added time.
7 minutes, Alex.
7 minutes, of course. Here come Augsburg. Mats Petersen on the ball. Marius Wolf.
Well, let's just count that up. So Augsburg have had 2 goals disallowed, both from crosses coming. No, both from corners, Alex.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's not stopping them.
Lucky escape, though, for Frankfurt.
Very much so, very much so.
It would be, if those 2 goals had stood, it would be 2-1 to Augsburg. But you can't really fault the referee because...
referees had a good game. It's been niggly.
They were offside. Chance here. Good block. Very good block there.
Was it a block or did...
No, I think it was a block.
No, I don't think so. I think...
Did he pull his shot wide?
I think he pulled his shot.
Kevin Schlotterbeck, that
and he was offside.
Yes, he certainly did pull his shot wide. But Thiaté and Marius Wolf having a little bit of argy-bargy there. Really? It's going to be a goal kick to Eintracht, as we see their president looking very smug. His team are 1-0 up, and they've suffered a few anxious moments here because the 2 goals that Augsburg scored were both disallowed for offside. Matsima wrestling.
Well, Alex,
down.
Let's just have a look across the scores across the Bundesliga, because
the games must be coming to an end.
We're already in the 92nd minute of this game. St. Pauli are still ahead.
2-1
Yeah.
Hoffenheim 4-1 up against Hamburg, and Wolfsburg still 3-1 up. Yellow card for an Augsburg player, but the player is on the bench.
Yep.
So frustration, of course, for Augsburg. This so frustrated they must be after playing really well, but there are still 7 minutes to go. Well, shall we say 5, because the clock's been running down as we speak, and
the Augsburg players do not look impressed. They don't look beaten. They just look bemused at the way this game has gone not in their favor.
The ball bouncing through to Finn Dahmen.
There's still 5 minutes though, Alex. Here, there's opportunity for them if they can. If Augsburg can pull themselves together and launch a few more attacks, I think the Frankfurt defense is, probably wouldn't bet your house on them at the moment.
You wouldn't, but it's asking a lot for Augsburg. Oh, Finn Dahmen, goodness me, he's got to give the ball away a little bit more precisely than he has now. And the ball goes out of play. Bahoya, Speedy Gonzalez of the Bundesliga, Jean-Mathieu Bahoya, the French Cameroonian, Kevin Schlotterbeck, the Augsburg captain, as they launch yet another attack. Well, on this performance, I don't think Augsburg are in danger of going down.
No, certainly. They do not look that easily beatable. They were quite unlucky in this game so far, to be honest.
Yeah, don't forget the goal that separates these two sides came via a deflection.
A wild deflection.
A wild deflection.
And actually, that was the only shot on goal that
Frankfurt
had this half. Yeah, true.
It's Mats Petersen. Tries an early ball into the penalty area. Sydney, clever turn there by Samuel Essonde. Clever turn that was, and he's won a corner. The French-Congolese striker, Samuel Essonde. And it's a short corner taken very quickly. Can they get into the penalty area? Good ball into the penalty area, but Frankfurt get it away as Essonde shoots, and it comes off a Frankfurt defender. That was a foul on an Augsburg player, and it's a free kick in a very dangerous position.
And another card.
And it's another yellow card coming out, this time for Arthur Théat, the Belgian defender. Another player signed from France, from Stade Rennes, or Stade Rennais, as the French like to say. So many players from League coming to the Bundesliga. Well, they want another free kick there, but I don't think Frankfurt are going to get it. I think Augsburg, that was a brilliant turn by Essonde, wasn't it?
He just couldn't keep the ball tight enough around him. He almost had a free shot on goal there, but Théat getting his foot in there to make the vital challenge.
Here comes the vital free kick for Augsburg.
We have about 2.5 minutes left, perhaps, here.
Kummer is going to take it. In it comes. It's a relatively good one, bouncing around. Oh, and I'm afraid Essonde hammers it over the crossbar there. And time running out for Augsburg, but they can be proud of this performance.
And the tensions of this game, I think it's been a niggly game, and they're starting to boil over. You see players chatting and maybe exchanging pleasantries. A lot of stuff, the dark arts of football, as we call them. Hidden elbows to the chest and maybe some kicks here and there.
Essonde with a good effort, but it was too high. Decent shot on goal that was, but a little bit too high as we watch Banks and Collins trading a few insults there to each other, but to be understood. I mean, no side can be faulted for not giving their absolute all.
No, that's for sure, Alex. Can't agree with you more in that game.
Wolfsburg have won 3-1 at Mönchengladbach, and St. Pauli have picked up some very precious points there against Heidenheim. 2-1 they win, and Hoffenheim have beaten Hamburg 4-1.
So we're the only game still playing.
Well, the only game still playing as Frankfurt pick the ball up. This is Højlund, plays the ball across to Christensen, who's had a really good game up and down the left wing, and he's going to try and waste time. This is Doan, the man who scored the goal, and that was a trip on Christensen, and he's won a free kick there.
Well, Christensen is celebrating this as if it were a goal. He just winning the ball back. It shows just how difficult this game has been for Frankfurt.
It has indeed, Free kick to Eintracht, and we're in the dying moments of this game here. And I can't see any way back now for Augsburg. Opportunity here for Frankfurt to waste a little bit more time.
And the referee blows.
There goes the final whistle. Frankfurt win this game narrowly by 1-0. But our condolences must go to Augsburg for having 2 goals disallowed for offside. Minimal decisions that was, VAR decisions. And Christian Matsima's header in the first half looked to have given them the lead. Then it was a deflection off Matsima that gave the lead to Eintracht, but the goal given to Doan, the Japanese winger. I think Matsima had a good performance in in central defence there, I have to say. So did Masengo, but it's Frankfurt who take the 3 points.
And not only do they take 3 points, Alex, somehow they get away with a clean sheet. It's been a long time since.
It's been a long time since Frankfurt come away with a clean sheet. And Manuel Baum, he can be proud of his side. Augsburg, they put in a really good performance, and you could see him hugging his Augsburg players. Christian Jakic, who put in a really good performance. And on comes Topmüller to do the same with his players. Christensen put in a 100% performance there. It was a brilliant game by Rasmus Christensen up and down the left wing. He's, of course, a fullback, but all the running he put in down that right-hand side was really impressive. But as we said, Kai, on this type of form, there's no relegation worries at Augsburg.
No, and I think also understatedness must also be for the referee who has managed a very niggly game here. Lots of fouls, quite a few cards as well, and contentious decisions. But I think he kept control of the game and did his best there. The only two decisions that had the biggest effect on the game, the 2 VAR decisions, clearly going against Augsburg. So I can see why the Augsburgers are a little bit upset how this went on, especially considering their last game against Leverkusen being a 2-0 win. They would have wanted to build on that, but I think there was no shame in this game. They played really well for large patches. They, just as we've said, lacked the finishing touch or the striking finish, Alex.
Bit of luck, maybe too.
Yeah.
A little bit of luck too.
Yeah, certainly. But we have, Alex, we've got one more round of fixtures before
the winter break.
Let's just go through those quickly and just see what the fans can expect, because they are, of course, some really good games coming up, Alex.
I think for me, it's Hamburg against Frankfurt.
Yeah, Hamburg-Frankfurt is another great game. There's going to be a derby game on the Friday, which is Dortmund versus Borussia Mönchengladbach. Borussia versus Borussia there. Very intriguing encounter, Alex. Wow. I mean,
Borussia Mönchengladbach losing heavily at home by 3-1 against the Wolves today. So I think Dortmund, who play on Sunday, of course, tomorrow, they play in Freiburg. I think Dortmund will be the favourites there. But it's on a Friday. We can't give you that game. I think the only game we could really realistically think of is Hamburg against Frankfurt. But I don't want to give anything away too soon.
No, sure. And also there's also an intriguing encounter to look forward to. RB Leipzig versus Leverkusen. That'll be an exciting one.
That's a very good one too, indeed. What about that Hamburg defeat at Hoffenheim? Goodness me. Hoffenheim with so many players of African descent. We've got Kevin Akpabuma, he's German-Nigerian. Ilas Babu, the veteran, he's Togolese, German-Togolese. And David Mokwa, French-Cameroonian. And one of the young stars of the Bundesliga is, of course, Banzumana Touré, the young Ivorian, doing ever so well this season for Hoffenheim. And one for the future, Banzumana Touré. So we've got another big one coming up, which is Leverkusen against Cologne later this evening.
Yeah, and that's going to be a very exciting encounter. Even though our coverage of the Bundesliga ends at this point, the Bundesliga games do continue. And looking forward to the next game between Bayer Leverkusen and Cologne. It'll be an exciting match that we're looking forward to. And in preparation for this, I also spoke to our dear friend and colleague Antonio de Dios earlier today, just to have a chat about what to expect from this game coming up. So let's hear what he had to say.
First of all, applaud to the work of FC Köln, of Cologne, coming back from Bundesliga 2. They're doing a great job. 8th place at this time, 16 points. 6 points away from Stuttgart, the 6th place. And I talk about Stuttgart because they are the 6th place has, of course, the qualifying terms for playoffs for next season, UEFA Conference League. But with all the respect to the job Cologne is putting on Bundesliga, Leverkusen, the expectation, I can expect everything. Because if we look at Leverkusen form, and it's crazy, you talked about Champions League. This week they conceded, I would say they lost 2 points against Newcastle. I think they were better than Newcastle. They conceived a 2-2 tie. But the last games, imagine, Leverkusen beats Benfica in Lisbon, José Mourinho's Benfica, beat Manchester City in Etihad, then loses at home with BVB, with Borussia Dortmund for the Bundesliga. For the DFB Pokal, goes to Signal Iduna Park and win big time 1-0, but a very big win. And then come back with a loss for Bundesliga, and then with a tie for against Newcastle. It's almost like not a Russian roulette, but unpredictable team. I think it's a team where the fans need to be comprehensive. I think they're doing a good run in the Champions League. In the Bundesliga, it's not so easy at the moment. I would never think that they were that they would be title contenders this year like they were in the 2 last years, and of course winning 2 years ago with Xabi Alonso. I think it's going to be an open game. We always have to expect goals between Bayer Leverkusen and Köln. Köln has nothing to lose, and in the derby, everything can happen. And Bundesliga is full of surprises when it comes to derby.
Indeed, we're all looking forward to Leverkusen against Cologne, which starts in just under an hour, and quite a few African players or players of African descent involved there. Ernest Poko, the Dutch Ghanaian, he's certainly starting in the forward line, and because of Patrick Schick's injury, Christian Kofani, the Cameroonian striker, he's the centre forward today for Leverkusen. And of course, Edmund Tapsoba of Burkina Faso, he'll be playing in a 3-man defence for Leverkusen there. And I just wonder, the whiz kid of FC Cologne, his name is Said El Mala. He's of Lebanese heritage, but he's been called up to the Germany squad by Julian Nagelsmann. Not played a game yet, but we're very interested in seeing Said El Mala today. What he can do, I would say, in his first really big game, a game of a lot of pressure and importance for both clubs here. And so we just have to see what Said El Mala is made of. What do you think of him, Kai, till now?
Well, a lot of fans refer to him as El Maladona, particularly those of Cologne persuasion. They love the guy. He's been like a real bright spark for their team so far, and Cologne has played well, really, this season.
Maybe a bit of overhyped. I'm not really sure.
Sure, I think it's also a nice name that sort of
sounds exciting. Said El Mala sounds really exciting. But I'll tell you, the player of the season till now, for me, the newcomer of the season, has to be the young Bayern Munich player,
Leonard Karl.
Karl.
No, I mean, that's without a doubt.
We must see him at the World Cup, don't you think?
Be very exciting. He is 17, another star teenager. But
Nagelsmann must be brave enough to take him to the World Cup, I'd say.
Well, we'll see. He still has a fair bit of Bundesliga season to go, so let's see if he manages to get through that. But certainly on the form at the moment, he is worth a shout. Let me just take you through the Cologne formation. We've got Schwebe in goal. We also have Van der Berg on the left wing side, Martel in the central defense, Sibolonsen on the right back position, Thielmann on the right wing position, Hussein Basic and Tim Krause in the middle of the park, Kaminski on the left wing side, Marius Bulta on the left wing side, El Mala in the center forward position, and Luka Waldschmidt on the right flank position. They've got three at the front, Alex. It's very attacking formation they have there.
Well, Leverkusen will have to produce the goods today. They are the favourites, with Christian Kufani leading the line there, the man from Cameroon, and Ernest Doku and Arthur, the Brazilian, in the wide positions. Ernest Doku, of course, the Dutch Ghanaian. And so we'll just have to be patient and wait and see who finishes this game. Okay, from me, Alex Sisto, thanks for having joined us in the Bundesliga on match day 14. It's goodbye from me.
And from me, Kai Neve, it's always a pleasure. See you next time.
DW. Made for minds. DW, learning by ear. Listen up. Shape your future.
Hello, it's great to have you join us for the second episode of Words of Hate, Words of Peace, a crime fighter story on ethnic rivalry and hate speech. In the previous episode, exiled MPPP opposition figure Banku Mutumba was stabbed and critically wounded as she arrived in her native land Magange to a hero's welcome. The young reporter June Palo was there. She witnessed the attack firsthand. Let's join her at the hospital as she tries to get information about Banku. This second episode is called Searching for Clues.
Please, nurse, just let me see her. I'm a reporter, and the attack on Banku is the big story in Magange right now. People have the right to know what's going on.
I already said no. As the nurse in charge, I've been instructed not to let anyone see the patient apart from our family and the medical staff.
Is she going to make it? What are the doctors saying?
I'm not allowed to give you that information. It's private and confidential. You have to leave now.
Okay, I'm going. No need to be so rough.
Hello, Dr. Lilo. Hello, Salome.
Hello.
Good morning, Elizabeth. Is everything ready for the check?
Just a second, doctor. Elizabeth, who's this lady?
She says her name is June. She's a reporter and she wanted to see Banku.
Hold on. You told me no one was allowed to see Banku except her family and the doctors. Why is Salome Chirome of the MPPP opposition party allowed in?
Why am I allowed in? All of us in this room are from the Deremba ethnic group. We are all family. You, on the other hand, are not. And after what just happened to Banku, we can't trust anyone who's not Deremba to be around her.
What? Are you suggesting that I'm a threat to Banku just because I might be from another ethnic group? That's ridiculous. And anyway, my parents are both Tiribe and Deremba. Not that it should make any difference. I'm a journalist, and I've always maintained impartiality in my work.
Excuse me, I have to go and check on the patient now.
I'll be with you in a minute, Dr. Lilo. Listen, Miss Reporter, and listen carefully. We, the Deremba people, are the majority in this country. You Tiribes have oppressed us for far too long, calling us lazy and illiterate. But that stops now.
What proof do you have that Banku was attacked by someone from the Tiribe ethnic group? Are you saying that President Kanda is somehow involved?
Elizabeth, escort her outside and don't ever allow her back in here.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President, Kanda Baruti.
My fellow citizens of this great nation of Magange, I've called this press conference today to express my deepest sorrow. When I took my oath of office, I swore to protect the lives of each and every one of you, regardless of your social, religious, or ethnic background. I've freed most of the political prisoners as a sign of my willingness to embrace an open democratic society. As you are all aware, Banku Mutumba, a member of the MPPP opposition party, returned from exile a few days ago. Most unfortunately, she was attacked in a cowardly, barbaric act that has left her in hospital fighting for her life. I assure you that my government will leave no stone unturned until we find the people who perpetrated this crime. I want to appoint Chief Inspector Opande to head the investigation. He's a distinguished member of the security forces, and he has already started to gather information. Thank you.
I don't have much to say except one thing to the culprits. Whoever you are, wherever you are, we will find you and we will punish you. I'll take 3 questions. Yes, at the back there.
Chief Inspector, do you have any suspicion or leads as to who might be behind the attack on Banku?
The investigation is underway and we wouldn't want to jeopardize it by voicing our suspicions.
The government knew that Banku was coming. Why wasn't there enough security in place to protect her? And do the security cameras reveal any clues?
We did know she was coming and we had security in place, but the attacker outwitted us. As for the security cameras, we're still carrying out our investigations and we can't comment further. Last question. Yes, you.
This case has increased ethnic tensions in Magange. Some people are even accusing the government of being behind the attack. What do you say to this?
Listen to me very carefully, young lady. Freedom of the media or freedom of expression does not mean that you are above the law. If you start inciting people or spreading hate speech, you will be held responsible and will face the full force of the law.
Chief Inspector Opande, I'm well aware of my rights. And as for hate speech, it's very clear to me that using hate speech is a crime. Let me ask you this. It's no secret that the Tiribes often describe the Derembas as lazy, illiterate people. How many of them have been convicted of using this hateful rhetoric?
That has nothing to do with the case. If you want an answer to that, I refer you to the judiciary. I think we're done here. Thank you very much.
Wow, June, those were serious questions. Hate speech and ethnic tension? Do you know something we don't?
I just have a feeling there's more to this story than just the knife attack itself. I went to the hospital to check up on Banku, and guess what? They're only letting Derembas in.
What? That's discrimination, surely.
I know. And the question referring to hate speech was valid. We have a problem with it in this country.
Tell me about it. Recently, someone commented on my social media page that I can't be trusted as a journalist because I'm Deremba. That all my stories are anti-government. It's simply not true.
Many people don't know what hate speech is. Listen, I'm writing an article about it. Here. Intentional or unintentional public discriminatory and or defamatory statement based on race, ethnicity, language, nationality, religious or political beliefs, gender, sexual orientation, mental health, or even social status.
Are you sure you don't want to change careers? Human rights lawyer would fit you perfectly.
MPPP supporters.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Enough is enough.
Enough.
This government thinks we are a bunch of fools.
We are not.
They know perfectly well who's behind the attack on Banku.
They do.
They know because they did it themselves.
Yes. Yes.
They hate her because she has always spoken truth to power.
Yes.
President Kanda Wabaruti is an illegitimate tribal leader who only cares about himself and his own Tiribe people.
Yes.
After attempting to kill one of our most inspiring political leaders, Banku Mutumba, how dare President Kanda Wabaruti appoint an officer from his own Tiribe tribe to lead the so-called independent investigation? This is like appointing a crocodile to guard the goats.
Yes. Down! Down with Kanda Baruti! Down! Down with Inspector Opande! Down! Down with the
MPPP supporters.
Yes!
Let's send a clear message to this regime. We will not be intimidated.
No!
We will not back down from criticizing them for keeping you in poverty. And if God forbid, Banku Mutumba should die, her blood will not have been spilled in vain. Have no fear.